Just want to thank everyone for coming out on this beautiful Saturday. Really appreciate everyone being here. My name is Christina Elder. I'm the 2025 chapter president of AREAA Napa Solano. Thank you guys for being here and supporting AREAA's mission of sustaining home ownership in the Asian communities and diverse communities. Want to give a big shout out to my board members who are here: Josh, Brian, Kenny, Dana's here. Thank you guys, and a big shout out to, and a thank you to our dynamic speakers who are going to be sharing knowledge and wisdom, and please soak it all in and ask a lot of questions. And yeah, thank you guys so much. I'm going to hand it off to Josh, who's our moderator for this seminar. So thanks Josh.
All right, thanks everyone for coming out. Just quick housekeeping. The restrooms, if you go out this door, for the men, it's straight ahead, and then the women, it's on the other side, right? You'll see the signs, but
Okay, thank you.
but if you need to use the restrooms, feel free. It's right out there. We do have sandwiches here, we have some drinks, so feel free to fill up if you. I know some people drove from a little while away, so. But I just came from Merton, it's not that far. I had some strawberries and fruits this morning. But anyways, glad to have you guys here. This is a good seminar that we were wanting to let people know how they can make money in real estate. And we did this last year, but this year we wanted to have it a little bit more involved and give a little more time to our speakers, because people have questions and there's a lot more into it. So this year we want to give them more time. That way you can actually learn more and hear more in detail and actually be able to talk to them and engage with them. And for me, I'm the kind of person who wants to see it. That's how I learn. I'm a very visual learner, and talking to people and learning and doing. When I got into real estate, I actually shadowed an agent for a year to see how he did it. Like I went on, open houses, showings, all that stuff, and saw how he did it. Anyways, I still have to say we brought in some of the best speakers here for the Bay Area. These are people who live and breathe real estate. They make money doing it. This is not a hobby of theirs. This is not a part-time thing of theirs. They are very successful at it. They are here in the Bay Area. They're not just some random people that you see on Instagram who are somewhere else. They live here and they work here. And so that's why I wanted to bring them in and have them show you what they do. And so today, first up, we have Elsa Nguyen and Garrison Gilbert. They are with Invest Now Capital. And Elsa is a fellow graduate of Cal State Hayward. Where I graduated from. So if you guys want to come on up and share with us your knowledge and expertise, we'd be happy to hear from you. I couldn't find the clicker for you, Garrison, sorry.
That'll work.
But yeah, you guys want to come on up and I'll give you guys the mic and do your thing.
Thank you, sir.
You want me to click for you? Or?
What's up, everybody?
What's going on?
So we are Invest Now Capital. Like Josh said, we're right here in California. Elsa lives locally in the Bay Area. I'm new to California. I came from the beaches in Florida to specifically buy real estate here in California.
Welcome.
We've been business partners for the last 3 to 4 years. We call this Real Estate Reimagined. This was a title we actually used for a Dennis Quaid TV show that we did. We did a TV special where we discussed doing syndications, bringing investors in, capital in order to buy larger commercial real estate projects. My name is Garrison Gilbert. This is Elsa Nguyen, and we are Invest Now Capital. A little bit about us. Our company was founded in 2021. We are the primary owners. Currently, we have about $35 million worth of real estate under management. We purchased $50 to $60 million worth of real estate over the last couple of years. Primarily, our focus has been large apartment complexes. Generally speaking, 60 units and larger. We buy and hold. 30 units and smaller. We do fix and flips on them like other people do houses. We fix and flip apartment complexes. And our last couple deals have been assisted living communities in the Fresno Central Valley area.
That's interesting.
And our vision is to create a platform where individuals just like you, individuals of any caliber, can invest in the large commercial real estate projects. You can get all the benefits of these large commercial real estate projects from, of course, everyone knows about cash flow. Everyone knows about appreciation. But with these apartment complexes and assisted living communities, we're also able to do cost segregation and get huge tax advantages. Individuals are able to invest with us, and it's truly a passive type of experience where our professional team does all the work, and you kind of get to sit back and collect all the benefits. You're still part owner, but our team handles all the headaches, the toilets, the termites, all of that kind of stuff. And some of our background includes land entitlement. Elsa started out in the hotel industry. She was a tech executive, CFO here in the Bay Area. We have acquired 10 plus apartment complexes. We've gone full cycle on 7 of those apartment complexes. Full cycle means we purchased them, we implemented our business model, whatever that may be, whether it's a value add, whether it's a stabilization, whether it's a cash flow play. And then we were able to successfully exit those deals, which we're very proud of given today's market, what you're seeing with rents not going up as fast as they were in the past, and interest rates almost doubling over the last couple of years. So that's a big testament to our durability and our conservative underwriting. A little bit about myself. I have been buying real estate full time since college. I've never had a job. I've always worked for myself. In my 20s, I bought about 1,200 houses on the East Coast, specifically Baltimore, DC area. I eventually owned one of the largest wholesale real estate companies in the Maryland, DC, Northern Virginia area. I've been fortunate enough to speak at some of the largest real estate conferences across the country. Until eventually we graduated into commercial real estate. In 2013, I lived in China for a year. I came home with about $60 million of investments, and then I was able to start buying strip malls, things of that sort. And then we graduated in roughly 2016, 2017 into larger apartment complexes. And I met Elsa, she was on stage with me. I kind of picked her out as in, I thought she was gonna be really successful in this business. She had the time, she had the knowledge, she had the background, and everything just kind of aligned. So we purchased a 60-unit apartment complex just to kind of test the waters a little bit. It was a massive success, and we kind of hit the ground running. 2017, I was nominated multifamily, which is Apartment Building Investor of the Year by Think Realty Magazine. I'm in a couple Hall of Fames for multifamily and commercial real estate. So I've been able to build a pretty big career, pretty successful career. I'm not saying there hasn't been a lot of hiccups and different things along the ways, but I learned this business by doing this business. And I started buying real estate when I was about 22 years old. And I am not 22 years old anymore, unfortunately. And a little bit about Miss Elsa.
Okay, well, I don't have all the impressive experience as he is, but came from Cal State East Bay, 1999, graduate, and started working in the accounting field scene. But I found that even though I love numbers, I'm more of a people person. So I decided to venture out and got into real estate and started out as an agent. And then 2019, I thought that it was just more fun to buy for myself than to buy it for other people. And that's when I started to look into different avenues, how I can create a platform where, you know, I don't have a lot of money, but I still want to own real estate. And I came across a few, I would say syndicator, where they taught me the concepts of syndication, where we can pour money together. Let's say if I need $2 million to buy a property, and I need a $200,000 for the down payment, but I don't have $200,000, then I can maybe have 4 people who have $50,000 each. And now we can use that as a down payment, and then we can go out and buy that bigger assets. So that's when I started learning about the syndication, and then shortly after that I met with Garrison, and we started buying more and more properties together. And so I also have the honor of being, you know, featured on a few podcasts here and there, as well as speaking on a few platforms. So here are just some photos of that. Oh, okay, so, a couple years ago, we were, invited to, do a TV, project with, Dennis Quaid, as you can see that. It's a short video, a short project where they features on public television, and they ran that ad, for I guess about 6 months or so. So that is just a screenshot of the I guess of the
Television show.
television show that they gave us.
And we were planning on playing a small excerpt from that show, but we don't have audio connected here.
90% of
Maybe we
millionaires
do.
build their wealth investing in real
Pleasant
estate,
surprise.
which provides a way to generate.
This is one of our apartment complexes in South Carolina. This is 66 apartments. We bought this 3 years ago, and we just sold this property December 31st of
Real estate investing
2024.
is for everyone. And Invest Now Capital offers its investment partners the opportunity to leverage shares of apartment buildings into a passive monthly income without needing to operate a property. This type of investing provides long-term growth that's secured by a tangible asset, minus the volatility associated with stocks. Whether you're a seasoned investor, CEO, physician, pilot, retiree, or stay-at-home mom, you too can create wealth through passively investing in real estate without the day-to-day management. Take the first step toward financial independence. Learn more today about Invest Now Capital. Real estate investing made easy. For more information or to schedule a consultation, visit investnowcapital.com.
Now, that was a apartment complex we bought in Columbia, South Carolina. That was 66 apartments. We did a value add strategy on that. The purchase price was approximately 4, and we just sold it for 6, 5.5. So we had about $1.5 million in upside after doing approximately $500,000 in renovation. That property ended up being a little bit more of a headache than we expected, so we decided to sell it. Generally speaking, we have several exit strategies whenever we buy properties.
90% of millionaires.
And that particular one we decided to let go. It was a lot more work than we anticipated. We still made money, our investors got their money back, but then we moved on to bigger and better investments per se.
Can you entertain questions?
Oh, absolutely, speak up. This is a
Okay.
conversation. Anyone who wants to kind of jump in, feel free.
Okay, so you're doing syndications, so what kind of value adds did you do for that property? And then what kind of returns are you looking at? Like you said monthly returns or quarterly returns? How do you guys do that?
Yeah, in general, we pay distributions every quarter.
Okay.
It's a little bit more work, we have to do it monthly. So we do quarterly distributions. Most investments across the board are anywhere from a 16 to 23% return.
Okay.
Generally speaking, whenever we raise capital, we do, every deal's a little bit different, so don't take this to heart, but in general, we do a pref return, so investors get paid back first. We'll do roughly an 8 or 10% pref, and then there's a split on the back end and the upside on top of the pref return.
Okay, so the 8 to 10% is the quarterly per year?
8 or 10.
Yes, so let's say you invest $100,000, we do a 8% return, so every year you get $8,000 return. And we do a quarterly distribution on that.
So it'll be
Any
two-
profit that we
2,000
make after we pay all the returns, all the expenses, and if any money that we make on top of that will be an additional split between the management as well as the investors.
Is that only after sale or?
No, it doesn't have to be after sales, it's just an ongoing.
Okay, cause most syndication investments, they usually give you back whatever you invested and then whatever equity split at the end. So you guys give,
Yeah,
you
and
give
that's
extras.
true, that given if you don't make money, if you don't make, any profit after you pay your distribution, your pref, normally they don't have any more, cause, you know, you gotta have to make more than 8% profit in order to do the additional, distribution, right?
Okay.
So if there's additional, profit after we pay out everything, then we do another split, but if there's nothing left, then there's no split, of
So
course.
you don't keep money in reserves to do your
So
value adds
normally
or your
when we
CapEx?
put a deal together like this, we have a reserve, we raise extra capital for capital improvement. So we do have that reserve. And we just generally play by ears, because sometimes things come up. And I would make an executive decision and we say, you know what, we do have issue with the electrical panel or whatever. So we instead of return all the money to the investor, we'll probably withhold $20,000 this year, so that we can take care of that. So, generally before we buy the properties, we try to do a very thorough investigation to see what kind of capex it needs. And then we factor that money into the capital that we raise from the investors, before we start the project.
And a lot of our deals have an infinite return per se, because even after we return the investor's capital, whether it's through a refinance or a sale, generally speaking, we keep those investors into the deal for a smaller percentage, but then they get an infinite return moving forward until the deal is absolutely sold and we wipe our hands clear of it.
So if you do a refinance,
Right,
that's
so if
how
we do a
investment-
refinance
Similar.
and we do a cash out refi, we return the additional investment back to the investor, they still stay on the deal until we sell it, on that equity split.
and what's your average, hold?
It really depends, if we do a small deal, then just 1 or 2 years, but if we do a bigger project, then it would be 5 to 7 years, it really depends.
Any other questions in regards to anything apartment building wise before we kind of jump into assisted living a little bit? So we're gonna do a minor case study. This is a property, and I'm gonna go back a few slides here in a second. This is a property we bought last year, roughly August or so. This is a 44-bed memory care community in the Fresno area. We purchased this property for around $4.3 million. Over the next 3 to 4 years, we will increase its value to approximately $8.9 million. And we've already increased the value about $1 million or so in the last 6 months. And the beautiful thing about commercial real estate is this is a business. You know, whenever you buy a house, that house is worth exactly what the house down the street's worth, assuming it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, granite countertop, etc. If I put gold toilets in that house, it's still worth the same amount of money based on square footage. With an apartment complex or an assisted living community, it's a business. It's worth what the numbers say it's worth. The higher we can bring that revenue in, the more revenue we can collect, the more that business is worth. The lower we decrease those expenses, the more that property is worth. So this property is known as Elam Place. It's been around for decades. It has an awesome reputation in the community. But it was ran by a caregiver per se. Not in any type of negative way, but it wasn't ran as a business. There wasn't efficiency, there wasn't marketing, there wasn't social media. It was all word of mouth advertising. She was operating this asset at roughly 40% occupancy of 44 beds. Her comfort was like 20 to 23 individuals because that's the staffing she had. She ended up selling it to us. She was 2nd generation owner. She sold it to us because she wanted to go record an album and live in Nashville for a couple years. So total change of pace, but she didn't run it like a business. So we come in and run it like a business. That's how we were able to increase that value $1 million over the last 6 months or so. And our goal is to increase the value of that asset by approximately $4 million over the next 3 to 4 years. Go ahead, Elsa, you can touch on.
Sure, and Mary, just go back to the slide.
Yeah.
One of the reason we decided to have target senior living, and multifamily, for the time being, doesn't mean that we're not looking at any more multifamily projects, but we probably spend more time looking at senior living just because of the demand. So there's a really very strong demand right now for senior living. And as you can see right here, you know, just some numbers here for you to see. We have 10,000 baby boomers turn 65 every day. So, you know, 7 out of 10 people will require long-term care. And Tom was just telling me earlier, he's also a developer, and everywhere he goes, people ask about develop senior projects, right?
Every city we talk to, when we build houses, the very first question they ask is, can you help us with the senior housing? When we build senior housing, they prefer that over hotels, over apartments, over anything, they
Yeah.
prefer senior housing.
So the demand is tremendous, and here's some numbers that I pulled from, the National Investment Center. We're needing another 156 units by 2025. Right now we have about $1.2 million, 1.2 million units, and we need 156 by 2025. We need 149 by 2028, and roughly 806 by 2030. But the estimate that only 500 units is being under construction per quarter, so we're looking at about only 20,000 built per year. But we're needing, by 2030, we need about 800. So we definitely has a really strong demand for it. And this is one of the reasons our team decided to maybe just shift and focus a little more on assisted living, senior living, and multifamily.
And now's a good time for seniors because, for senior development, senior housing, assisted living, because this is the first year that seniors actually, or the baby boomers actually turn 80 years old. Generally speaking, 80-year-old people is when they start to look for assisted living. So the supply is very low, the demand is very high. It creates a great opportunity, number one. Number two, it's a great way to give back to the community. We got into this business with seniors specifically because I was forced in a position to take care of my mother for a long time. She was taking care of her father last year in hospice. So we decided, instead of me living in Florida, her living in California, us buying things everywhere in between, we decided to shift focus. I'm now in the Central Valley area, and that's our focus, given some of the California incentives and California programs where they pay for seniors.
Just
So
curious.
does they, I'm sorry, go ahead. No.
Just curious, how much does California pay per senior per bed?
Way more than any other state.
Wow.
And that's why I moved from the sunny beaches of Florida to the beautiful deserts of Fresno.
Yeah.
I'm not here out of want, I'm here out of, this is a profitable business model, number one, it's a much needed business model, number two. Number three, it's a great way to give back. There is a,
Medi-Cal, so Medi-Cal pays for Medicaid,
Yeah.
and so in other states it's Medicaid, here is Medi-Cal. And, depend on the state, but Medi-Cal here pays the highest.
Nice, like
Compared to-
5,000 per bed or something? Or-
No, it really depend on the level of care.
Oh, I see.
So if you're still independent, you just only need assistance with medicine, for example, every night, where to take medication, and you're pretty much independent living, then you're probably at a tier 3 level, and they will pay, and again, Medi-Cal don't pay for room and board, right? So they only pay for the services, and at a tier 3, they'll pay about $3,500 a month.
3,500.
But then, they don't pay for room and board, so the resident will use the SSI, not with your Medicare, we have SSI, that's about $1,400 a month. So they, in addition to the 3,500, you can also bill $1,400 for room and board, and they will use the SSI to pay you.
Yeah.
That's for a tier 3.
Where would you use it, not everybody gets SSI.
If you're on Medi-Cal, you will get SSI. No. So usually on the program that we work with, it's called the AREAA program. So everyone on that program has a fixed SSI payment every month of $1,400. That is the Medi-Cal people who are
That are on SSI to begin with, and they get Medi-Cal.
yeah, and then they get approved for
Yeah, because-
ALW, and then we
Okay.
accept them through the ALW program, which we had to jump through a lot of hoops for approximately 18 months in order to qualify for us.
What's that program called?
It's called ALW, which is called Assisted Living Waiver.
Yeah, there's a few of them, so ALW is one, PACE, PACE is another program that you can also get in. So in general, depending on the level of care, tier 3 pay $3,500 a month, tier 4 is about $4,500, and tier 5 about $5,500, $6,000 a month.
Plus the room and board. So to answer your question, Tom, what we get in California, $5,000 to $7,000 to $8,000 per average individual. If you go to a state such as, we looked at a 130-bed community in North Carolina, that same individual is only getting $2,500 to $3,000 a bed. And when we looked at that community, the seller specifically was like, Garrison, you're in luck. We got meals down to $1.28 per meal per person. That might not be the exact number, but it was $1 to $2 right in that range. And I remember thinking in my head, like, I don't want to run a business where I'm concerned that I'm spending $1.28 per meal, $1.28 per meal versus $3.50 per meal. If the numbers are that tight, I don't want to take that gamble from a business perspective. So that's kind of another angle that makes California look a little sexier from a real estate investor standpoint. I'm not a huge fan of being a landlord in California. I don't want to own a lot of apartments in California, but assisted living is very beneficial here.
What about what the administration is doing right now with Medi-Cal cuts? Has you guys analyzed what that's gonna mean to, I mean, if we lose these incentives in California, because, I mean, it's how many trillion they're proposing, or to
Yeah,
cut,
so
that's a lot of money.
I listened to a few people who, advocate for this, and they, all of them say that it's not a concern for us at all. And, it's something that's been around for years, and there's just too many people on it. And even though they're talking about a cut and all that, there has nothing been proposed as far as the Medi-Cal, the ALW, the PACE program, the Medicare. There has not been any, proposal to cut back on that. And so, to be honest, that is definitely not a concern. Given that, we choose to work with that group of people, that doesn't mean that we, most 90%, we have been hired, maybe I think it's 88% people in this business work with private pay. So all of my residents right now, at one of the communities, 100% private pay, the other one is 80% private pay. So a very small portion that are
Small that are Medi-Cal.
Yeah.
So
Or
I,
Medicare.
it's not like we're betting.
Medicaid, I mean.
Right, so
And-
most of them are private pay.
And our business model takes into account from a different angle. We buy in Central Valley, where real estate is slightly lower priced. So we have individuals who move in, for example, a gentleman moved in from Monterey, just a couple of weeks ago. He pays a very high dollar amount with us, but he pays a very low dollar amount compared to Monterey
Oh, yeah.
places.
Sure.
So he's a private pay, he has a quote unquote limited budget, but his limited budget will last him a very long time at Central Valley rates.
Yeah.
A couple things about California real estate, I can go buy, and we're talking about the ALW and the government funding programs. I can go buy an expensive piece of real estate in Malibu where it might be $350,000 per door, right, per bedroom. I can go buy the exact same facility in Central Valley or Stockton or some of these other lower priced areas. That same price per door might be $100,000, but the state of California pays the same across the board. So our business model is to buy lower priced real estate, get those higher returns on that real estate, and provide the services to individuals who need it a little bit more. Meaning, there's a lot more, I'm not gonna say a lot more, demand there. It's just a lower income type of individual who can't afford what some of the other coastal cities can play off of.
I'm sorry to interrupt, I just wanna make sure I didn't misunderstand something. When you said there, before we were both asked at the same point, did you say there's certain tax incentives for you guys in the area of Fresno where you're working in now? Did you say that, or did I miss it?
I did not say that.
There
Okay,
is no
I got
tax
it. Okay.
incentive. And the only incentive that we have is that when we work with these government funding programs, we get paid the same as if the property is in our house.
Yeah, that's
Right?
big.
Which is nice, but the real estate in Central Valley is better
Yeah.
here, so why not, right? On top of that, I mean, if you think about it, hospital, this is not enough hospital for people. And once, you're there for 2-3 days, they let you out, and then when they send you to skilled nursing homes, skilled nursing home charge a very expensive rate. So, the insurance companies, so we have a few residents with Kaisers, and they just can't afford to pay for those people to stay in skilled nursing home, where they get the same kind of care that they would get in assisted living. So they would try to find homes to send those willing to pay a good amount of money, because at the end of the day, it still saves them a lot of money by not, having a resident in a skilled nursing facility or a hospital. So to me, it's a win-win situation for everyone, and, but for us, you know, we are very fond of working with government funding, because it's almost like a guaranteed pay, at the same time, to get the people who can really afford to pay the bill, so.
You know, and to your point, this lady asked a little bit ago about, are we concerned about government funding running out? That senior's gonna have to live somewhere. If they live with us for $5,000–6,000 per bed, awesome. If not, the state has to put them in a hospital, which is $15,000, $20,000 per bed per month. So we actually save the state a whole lot of money by creating, establishing, developing, and maintaining these type of communities. So it's a win-win. It's a relationship between us and the state. I just happen to move here to quote unquote take advantage of the advantages of the California state.
I have a question. So how can I invest in you guys? So for example, if I want to buy a senior living, do I have to buy myself and invest in you, or how does it work? Like for example, $4 million. So I buy it and you guys can run it, or
No.
how to invest in you?
In general, our business model is we go out and we look at a bunch of deals. We
Right.
make offers on a bunch of deals. When we finally find one that is a really good, really strong deal, where we can increase the revenue, decrease the expenses, run it like a business, create a big value add opportunity, we make an offer on it, we get it under contract, we buy it, for, just use this property for example, 4.3 million.
Right.
We went and raised $2.1 million from a room full of people just like this.
Right.
50 grand, 75 grand, 50 grand, 150 grand, 300 grand. We bring that $2 million in, we go and get the loan, which is not easy to get. We had to get that loan from the SBA based upon our experience, based upon our portfolio, everything we have going on in our lives. So then we pull everyone's money together. We are the owners and the operators, but we all share in the benefits of the property. But we do not share in the headaches of the property.
Property, how about the profit that you guys make?
So-
Imagine the nursing home or whatever the senior living that they can make profit, you know? That profit is not being shared, is that?
It will be, so basically, as I touch on the syndication model, so
Right.
let's just talk about this deal in particular, right?
Right.
So we raised $2 million for this,
Right.
and with that $2 million is enough to cover the 20% down payment, and I took on a loan, SBA loan at 80%, and then we have about $500,000 left for CapEx reserve and this and that, about $800,000 left for that. So with that being said, with that $2 million capital that we borrow from the investors, they get an 8% return every year. So every year, 8% of $2 million, $160,000 return will pay out to the investors. Any profit that we make on top, so let's say we pay out all the expenses, $160,000, and we still have $100,000 left, then that $100,000 will be splitting with the investor at 50-50. So the investor will get an additional 50%, whatever profit that left. So then that is, and it's the same goes when we sell the property. So
Right,
when we
right.
sell and we make, let's say with this one, if we once we implement our business plan, and when we exit the project, we make $4 million.
Right.
The investor will get $2 million, and the management team will get $2 million.
So in essence,
50-50 also sorry,
Yeah.
50-50 also like you get 50%, whoever gets 150,
Yep.
5 people get another 50%.
Yeah,
Right.
and that 50% from this group of investors
Okay.
is split based upon, like, if he puts 100 grand and you put 50 grand in, he gets a little bit more
Yeah.
of that pie.
Okay.
Yeah, and with this one, our plan, so I have the number here that I can share in detail with you, so you can just really see our projection for this particular property, we have a 7-year business plan, 7 to 10 years. We'll implement our business strategies where, as you can see right here, as soon as we took over, we started to replace the old equipment that the old owner couldn't afford to replace, and it cost us a little bit of money to replace the stove, the laundry, but then we save money on repair, right? So every time we come out to repair, it costs us about we spent 15,000 to get a new one. We painted the interiors and we changed all the lighting to make it really nice and inviting. So now when people come in, they go, wow, I want my mom to live here, my dad to live here. And just simply by doing things like that, we were able to charge, we raised the rent from, the average rent was 5,000, about 5,300 a month. Now we raised it to 7,000 a month.
And the amazing part is that was mostly all accomplished from a paint job. Very minimal work compared to the fix and flip model. It's just more based upon the ambiance of the community per se.
Yeah, so with that being said, once we were to raise the rent from 5,300 to 7,000 plus a month, our revenue will go up and so is our profit. By implementing that within the next 3 years, I should be able to increase our revenue and our profit, and we should be able to do a refinance, to do a cash out refi. So when we do the cash out refi in year 3, I should be able to return all the investment back to the investors. So the investor with that, if the investor invests that $2 million, we have a $3.5 million loan right now. Once we refinance, our goal is to pull about $5.5 million out of that. 3.5 go back to pay the first loan, and then $2 million pay back the investors. So the investor will get all the fund back, all the capital back in year 3, and then after that, we will stop the 8% preferred return because there's no more money, but they still benefit from the 50% equity, the profit share. So that 50% will continue until we sell the property. And once we sell the property and we make money, then the investors still get that 50% share.
Quick question, sorry. So for the government funding, right now you guys are able to collect up to $5,000 a month for the Medi-Cal assisted.
Sometimes more than that, but in general, that's
So
about.
does that increase per year with the government funding?
So the AOW, every year they increase that a little bit.
So when that is increased, then your rents also gets increased?
That's correct. Similar to a standard rental, at roughly 1-2%
Kind of like
per
a
year.
Section 8, Section 8,
Yeah.
you know.
Very
this is-
similar,
yeah.
very similar. So I don't like to use the word Section 8, but in general, it is the Section 8 program for seniors
Right.
provided by the government, whatever means that may
The
be.
only reason I use Section 8 wasn't to belittle that, but it's just that when you have a government program with guaranteed funds, the Section 8 is something that people can relate to.
Correct, absolutely, absolutely.
Have you seen a very high increase in rents? Cause I remember I was taking care of my mom and dad back in 17, 16, you know,
Mhm.
with the types
Well-
of bed prices and stuff. Have they gone up with the baby boom? Is that?
We've seen an increase in price in everything.
Yeah.
You know, groceries, electric,
Right.
property tax, everything. So of course, yes, rents go up quite a bit as well.
Is that baby boomer demand increase that too?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a huge shortage of beds
Yeah.
in the near term.
Cause those numbers are a lot higher than I paid for my mom and dad.
Yeah, and these numbers are low compared to other parts of California.
I wouldn't
You know,
imagine, yeah.
We're talking quote unquote Fresno, Central Valley.
Yeah.
You know, you get to, we have a couple friends who own smaller communities around, Concord, some of those areas. They're getting 8, 10, 12,000 for that.
People are going to Nevada to have clients that,
Yeah,
assisted
absolutely.
living is a lot cheaper in Nevada.
Absolutely.
Just over the mountain, it's still close to Tahoe.
Yeah, and someone recently asked me if I wanted to go there and renovate. So I'm very hands-on. I lived at some of these communities for a while. Last Saturday, I was a caregiver for a couple hours whenever someone called in sick. And that's not because that's our business model, but we're that hands-on to make sure that we're doing what's right by the seniors, what's right by our investors, under promising, over delivering. And we wanna make sure that we're providing the best possible place for seniors to live. So we're that hands-on until we're comfortable with our team. But someone recently asked me if I would go to Nevada and develop a couple properties with them, and I said probably not, only because our focus is this particular area.
So, actually, you're buying the property, but you're also buying the entire business model, right?
That's correct.
So you're in charge of the full operation and all the existing employees. So basically, sometimes you can run into one that's pretty functional and operational. You just buy.
This one was very functional and
Yeah, so
operational.
you inherit, you buy the whole,
Yeah.
you don't need to move employees around or downsize or they're already
And
existing.
that's
So
the best.
you're basically their employer now,
Yeah.
right? So you
exactly.
become not just the real estate owner of the property, but the actual
Operational
owner of
owner.
the whole operation.
That's correct.
Okay,
That's correct. So we do SBA loans because of that.
yeah,
Because whenever you buy an assisted living community, we bought this community for 4.3 million, and she'll know the exact numbers, but the business was
it's still running.
hypothetically 500,000.
Yeah.
The real estate was 3.8, and the SBA loan covered the bulk of that.
Do you ever,
Yep.
do you ever use any other kind of loans besides the SBA? Cause SBA,
Very
check are
expensive.
usually pretty
Yeah, so when
expensive.
we refinance, and I have already talked to lender about the refinancing, we're gonna reprice into a HUD.
Okay,
The
good.
reason we couldn't use HUD is HUD takes it takes 8 months to a year. It requires certain, income. So it will be very difficult to do acquisition with a HUD loan. But HUD loan is probably the cheapest way that you could get.
Yeah.
And the most money that we can pour out.
How long is your, from start to finish, when you start the deal until you close, 90 days?
Oh, it was longer than that. It was.
No, not even
probably-
close, not even
probably
close.
6 to 8 months. And it was just a lot of it was just negotiation.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a lot of negotiation and securing the loan and back and forth. So
when
for
you-
this particular one, it took, I think, at least 6 months.
So when do you collect, investor funds, like for your syndication?
Once
I
we,
know,
once
I
we're
mean-
sure that it's going to close.
Yeah, I know
Once we
they
get through all the
collected
due
in
diligence.
30 days, like I know for sure that the loan is approved, that we move forward, all contingency removed.
Mhm.
Then I feel like, okay, we're ready to take the money now. So I don't take the money, too far out in advance, because I just don't want to hold the money.
So we had this property under contract for roughly 4.5 months before we even talked to anyone about raising capital. And then for us to raise 2.1 million, it took us probably a week and a half. We have a great reputation, we've been doing this a while, and a lot of our repeat investors who have invested into other projects and properties.
I just wonder who qualifies for the SBA loan. And I don't mean to get.
They do as a business.
But you just do it as a business, then.
We do it individually,
That's what I'm saying.
so it's based upon our credit score, our portfolio in general,
That
how
would
much
be
assets
ours,
do we
you,
own?
and whoever else.
It would be us, we are the main,
Okay.
we are the owners.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't the syndicators who were putting
No,
down payment.
no,
involved.
syndicators put their name nowhere other than,
Yeah,
here's your
okay.
50,000, Elsa,
Got it.
you do whatever you do with it and give us our return, please.
Got it.
So
That's-
all the investors will, what we did was called a 506C syndication. And with that, the attorney will draft a, offering memorandum for us, as well as the subscription agreement. So all the investors will come under that 506C, projects. And they will subscribe to that deal, so that a fund, and all the money will go under that subscription, under that PPM. The person who take on the loan, they always require a personal guarantee.
Yeah.
So not the business, but the individual.
And then we give our investors a monthly update, and then we do quarterly investor calls, just keep everyone in the loop. Some investors wanna know more what's going on, sometimes they visit the property, sometimes they mystery shop the property. Always encourage them to go like our Facebook page and comment on it and do things like that for marketing reasons. Some are just, hey, call me in 3 years when we're done, so it really varies a little bit.
So your communication is, do like a newsletter or something monthly, or?
Yeah, we do, monthly newsletters, and we do roughly bi-weekly updates. If something big happens, we'll send an update out to people. We got 5 new residents this week. That would be awesome.
Right.
We would send that out kind of spur of the moment, but we do a monthly update normally around the 10th of the month. And then we do quarterly bigger updates with financials, things of that sort. And then we'll do, calls pretty regularly.
So you're not only just the company, but you're also the management company, as far as like, you don't go out and have somebody else manage the property, you guys are the management.
We do most of this, everything in-house.
Okay.
Like yesterday, we threw a lunch, we did not throw a lunch, a hospice company came in and threw a lunch for all of our employees. I was there and everybody was calling me boss. Like, they see my face on a
So
regular basis.
how many people are you working with? Because I know you guys are the owners of the company, but how much staff are you working with?
We have roughly 15 people on our team. Now, these people are different aspects of different deals, right? Some are more hands-on with asset management, some are more hands-on with marketing. We have a girl that answers the phones from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. every day. So we have different things of that sort that is not community specific, but it might be asset.
Specific.
Yeah, or assisted living, like this girl answers the phones for both of our assisted living communities. If we buy a third community, she'll be answering the phone for that one as well. We operate under the brand name of Helping Hand Senior Care Communities, and then each property has its own name. But we try to build systems out that can cross from one to the other in order to create that efficiency and save that amount of money every month.
Well, I'm sorry, I do passive investments.
Sure,
And I'm not a realtor, I'm an investor.
sure.
And, your model, the reason I've been asking a lot of questions because I've done the passive and
Sure.
I'm familiar with the syndication process and everything.
Yeah.
So your model sounds really good, that's why.
Yeah. And it's really good because we're that hands-on.
Okay.
It sucks on one hand that I'm that hands-on. You know, whenever I got into real estate a long time ago, the goal was, I'm gonna sit back, I'm gonna sit at the beach, I'm gonna collect all this money, this is gonna be great. But nobody looks after your money as much as you look after your money, and it's our reputation. We sign a loan, we put money into every one of our deals. So if this fails, we fail.
Right.
And it's not just, hey, man, I lost your money, but then he tells Tom, and Tom tells this guy, and this guy tells, it creates a wildfire type of environment, which we want to avoid.
Right.
So we do everything possible to under-promise, over-deliver, be that hands-on. So I told you I moved to California. I did not plan on it. Her and I met up at a conference. We didn't see each other very often in person. We met at a conference in Orange County about assisted living. We came to visit one of our communities and the construction workers were ghosted. There was nobody there. And we thought there was gonna be 10 people working. And we were building a new community, and it was assisted living. And I looked at her, and she doesn't swear, but I do a little bit. I said, we're effed. If this continues, we're effed, and I never went home. I paid someone $5,000 to go pick up a car, grab all my clothes, drive it to California, and I have not been back. I've been here 18 months. I came with a 2-day suitcase, a 2-day carry-on, and that's what you gotta do. I'm lucky that I'm able to do that. You know, I lost a lot in 2006. I owned a lot of houses before that. I learned my lesson. I don't wanna learn my lesson fast forward. So what I learned from that span is what we incorporate into our business today. And we do what we gotta do. I didn't wanna move here, it was a necessity, but then it created opportunity. We then were able to expand our business model, we bought this property. If it wasn't for that first one, if it wasn't for me moving here, potentially we wouldn't own the one that we're talking about. So everything happens for a reason.
It seems like a good price, 4 million, that includes the real estate and the business. right?
That's correct.
So you got both, and
The
then.
beautiful thing is
Yeah.
that at 4.7,
Did we buy it for 4.3 or 4.7?
4.3 is the real estate.
Oh, I see.
okay.
And then the business
The
is
business.
another couple hundred.
Yeah.
Just
I see.
400.
Yeah.
So, and we intentionally push it that way when the
Yeah.
appraisal come out, because when they have it on the real estate, we can depreciate the assets,
Mm-hmm.
right?
So
And that
it-
will helps with the, with our tax.
Yeah, that's better than buying a house in the Bay Area, and San Jose is worth 3 million.
Yeah,
But here you get
yeah.
7,000 per bed, and then you have 40 beds, so it's not about
Yeah.
room count. It could be like 20 rooms, but you can have 40 beds.
Yeah.
But it's
So-
also a hell of a lot more difficult to operate.
Oh,
You know, it's, with a house, you can step back, per se.
yeah,
But you make this amount of money versus this amount of money. So it's really, what is your team able to do?
yeah.
And what are you realistically able to get loan-wise? What do you wanna put into it effort-wise?
Yeah,
Where is your bang for your buck?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we, you know, with a 22 bedrooms facility, 10,000 square foot, we paid $4.5 million for it, and even where we are right now, you know, you're collecting about $2 million in gross income, right? You're not
Yeah.
gonna be able to get that buying a $3 million homes here.
So after everything, the percentage rate you actually net is 70%.
So that's the total, so that's the current number,
Uh-huh.
about $2 million in gross income right now.
Yeah,
That's our expenses, this is our NOI, our net operating income.
that's about 25% roughly. net.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, as our goal is that we can increase the number a little bit every year.
Mhm.
As you can see right here, I stopped at 14% vacancy, that's about 86% occupancy. I don't wanna be too aggressive and take it to 100%.
Mhm.
So I'm at 86% occupancy, that's why I leave it at 14. Our rent increase, this number is just based on, the average rent right now per bed is 5,300.
Mhm.
We are going to, and we have been able to bring in about 6-7 people, save 7,000 a month ever since we took over, November of last year. So that number continued to go up, and this number really this is actually government pay number, so that's the Section 8 number that we're collecting. And our net income will continue to increase. It dramatically increased this year is because this is the year when we anticipate everyone will be on that ALW program. Right now, because that thing takes about 18 months for us to get approved, so we still work with private. But once that go up, this is the year when I refinance, and based on that number, I should be able to pull out, with a HUD loan, I should be able to pull out $5.5 million. With 3.5 we'll pay back the SBA loan and $2 million to pay back to investors. And then after that, as we continue our model, this profit right here, every year, we'll split 50-50 with the investor until we sell. So even though the investor got all their money back this year, they're still getting, $250,000 a year, just kind of the infinite return. So that is kind of, the number changed a little bit, I've been trying to cut back on this because it's a little bit high, and, first year is always a stabilization year. We've been playing with the numbers quite a bit, but it's come pretty close.
Yeah, I like how you guys refinance and still give cash distribution.
Oh, yeah.
So you get the money back and still get paid.
Yeah,
And
so
that's how
our-
they're able to get their IR up to 20-25%,
Yeah.
is mainly due to this one back here, right? Cause they already got their money back, they can take that, invest in something else. But our goal is to refi this year, through a HUD loan, and HUD is about 5% right now, which is really good.
And so to what you just said, our investors are part of the ownership.
Mhm.
We look at them like owners. They get paid first. We don't get paid until they get paid. So anytime we get money, whether it's through a sale, a refinance, cash flow,
Mhm.
anytime we decrease expenses, like she was just talking about some of the expenses that are too high, that's all a benefit to the investors. The more money we make, the more the investors make.
Right.
And I'm not a spreadsheet guy.
Yeah.
Like, this is all great to her. I don't care about any of this. I care about this.
Yeah.
I care about this.
Yeah.
I care about this. That's the important part, and that's what it all boils down to. And if that number's right, that means we did our job right. That means we operated this thing efficiently. That means we implemented systems and processes and a business model that works. We were able to get more value per each bed. And then we take this knowledge that we gain on each of these communities and we go buy another one and another one and another one. And then the ultimate goal is we have a portfolio of 12 to 15 of these, and then we sell it to an institutional investor out of Wall Street in 10, 15 years from now.
Do you ever need to 1031, or you don't need to because you can pay the taxes?
Well, this is a buy and hold model in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
And the tax advantages are through cost segregation.
Yeah.
So even if I sold this and we made $3 million, I don't necessarily need to force myself into a 1031 situation.
Mhm.
I say force yourself because you're limited to those time requirements.
Yeah.
Versus if we make $2 million on this asset,
Mhm.
we got cost segregation on this and other properties where our tax liability is still negative several $1 million each year.
I see.
So I don't care about
So there's no
the
taxes on the
1031,
gains, yeah.
and it doesn't force me into that 45-day constraint where
Yeah.
I gotta buy this property at a horrible price because I don't wanna pay taxes on this amount of money I made.
Yeah.
So that's you never do a 1031.
I'm not gonna say never, I've done them in the past. I don't see myself doing one anytime soon.
Okay.
And it's tougher because we have, with a 1031 exchange with 20 investors.
Yes.
Oh, you have to split on that.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And it's not like there's a million, like there's single family or multifamily, there's not a lot of
Oh.
things that are on the market either, you know. I guess you can go to another state and do it.
That, and long story short, I just don't wanna force myself into something.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people in the commercial world that are facing a lot of foreclosures because rents have not increased like they were from 17 to 23. You know, number one, interest rates have doubled. Number two, we're very fortunate that we're not standing here and we can honestly say that we have not lost investors' money. Number one. Number two, we have not come close to being foreclosed on any property because our underwriting, and for us to buy a property, it has to fit all the boxes. There is no, let's try to make it work. Let's try to make this, it's either a slam dunk or it's not. If you sell me your property, chances are you're getting ripped off. And I say that jokingly, but we are so conservative that you can get more money somewhere else. I've been doing this for so long that I just take no gambles. It's either an absolute slam dunk and we have multiple exit strategies and multiple ways to make this property win, or I'm not gonna risk it. I've been there and done that in my 20s.
How many more, assisted living are you guys gonna invest in? Because if this model, I would invest in.
Yeah,
But multifamily right now is kinda hit and miss.
I agree with that, and the multifamily market is oversaturated. Her and I met because we're coaches of multifamily people. And there's no knock on multifamily, but we have coaching students who 3 years ago had no experience, owned nothing, and now they own 1,500 apartments. And that's scary. There was a lot of gambling, and now that interest rates have doubled, you're seeing a lot of people falter, and you're seeing a lack of experience in the multifamily world because of all the big gurus and the coaching programs and the different things going on in that space. Something that set us apart a little bit is, I don't want our coaching students, and I'm not here to pitch coaching, I don't really care about coaching, but I don't want people to have to buy a property. People feel the need, I gotta buy something, I gotta buy something, I gotta buy. I don't want you to buy something, I want you to buy the right thing. If it fits your model and helps your family out, whatever your family situation is, that's awesome. Let's win, let's go do it. But if you're buying a property, just say, hey, look at me on social media, we bought this $8 million property, this is fantastic. That doesn't win for anybody. And you see a lot of that.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Yep. That's why I was one of those students that went into the multifamily and was coached and everything. And I started out slow on my own. I went and bought a fourplex.
Sure.
Just so I could learn how to manage.
Yeah.
But then I started doing the passive because I saw so much of people are doing things and their deals were structured wrong. And I said, no, I said, I'll do the passive, I'll sit back, I'll watch other people's deals, I'll learn how to structure, I'll learn how to do everything that everybody else is doing without making mistakes.
And I'm sure you saw tons of mistakes if you watched it closely.
Yeah, with my own money, so that's why I've been doing the passive, because, you know, and I've been doing passive investing in multifamily. Matter of fact, I just invested in another deal last week.
Sure.
152 units in Texas, but it's just, I am very strategic as far as how I want to invest and where I wanna put my money, because I'm a retiree.
Sure.
I don't have money to throw away.
Sure. And I can say that I don't know too many people that I would invest with. I know almost, I don't wanna be negative, but I don't know anyone that I would invest with. Because no one is as hands-on as I want, no one has the experience, no one has the track record. So that's why we do what we gotta do. I would love to just invest money with other people and let it sit there and ride, but I've seen so many mistakes, I've seen so many breakdowns in quote-unquote the system, where a lot of times the only people that win are the lenders.
Or the people who are managing it like you guys.
Yeah. And even with us managing and being so hands-on, like, it's not easy. It is not easy for us, but it's just a necessary evil, it's a necessary part of the business.
Well, it's your business.
Yeah, no, 100%. It is nowhere even close to being passive for us. I wish that it was, it's just not, and I know that it probably never will be. Not trying to be negative, it's just, that's the real side of real estate that not a lot of people talk about.
Yeah, one of the reasons we decided to invest in our backyard is also because of that hands-on perspective.
Yeah.
When we had a numbers of properties outside, and it's just very difficult, because I feel like, you know, for something that I would pay $5,000 more, if I were there, I would get it done for $2,000. You you know, and people, do take advantage of the fact that we're not there on site, or just being there to negotiate the price. It's just very, very difficult to manage property that we don't have control over. And this is why we believe in, switching all of our assets to kind of like vertical management. So we are the one who go in and first and find handyman's and vendors, instead of go to a management company who could just can't ask for, you know, like for
Every time
example-
we've used third-party management, it's been a loss. The only people that win is that management company. From maintenance expenses, their management fee is one thing, but the maintenance, the handyman, the construction part of it, it's an absolute nightmare for the most part. I hear stories where people are happy with people every now and then. I've never been that guy. And just a year ago or 2 years ago, we would have been sitting up here talking about, we own an apartment complex in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Columbia, South Carolina, Jacksonville, Florida, Statesboro, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, Phoenix, Arizona. We bought 2 complexes in Los Angeles, 1 in San Diego. That looks great, but from a management standpoint, I was on planes everywhere, we were doing everything, and it was just like, this is too much. Like, I'm getting too old to be, I don't wanna live on an airplane. I lived at that time I lived at the beach and life was great. I'm living in Central Valley and life is still great, just slightly different scenery, I guess. But that going back and forth, it just got to be a little too much. And we learned from that. And our business model is never perfect. We're always growing, we're always learning, we're always adapting, we're always shifting. We're always doing what we gotta do. And now it's Central Valley and California real estate. And I never thought I would say that. Everybody runs away from California in terms of real estate, except for you guys, because you live here. But you don't ever hear investors, I'm moving to California, we're gonna go back. I've never heard someone say that, but I was that guy. And I was that guy because of her and her skill set and what we're able to accomplish.
Oh, no.
Good question. So, I have an LLC outside of California, and I'm looking to put it outside of California because of the investments that I'm making.
I bet you it was Delaware, Wyoming, or Montana. Yeah.
So, if I wanted to invest in California, is California gonna make me, pay that $800 a year tax? For investment? Yeah, for investment in California.
But even if you have a Delaware LLC, they require you to register the LLC in California and really be certificated.
You have to do that.
That's the thing with California.
Short answer is yes.
So now you pay 2 LLC,
And
so
I
you
have to
pay
do
the
the same thing.
Delaware, fee as well as,
Can't
it
apply.
requires that. So if you haven't done it, then.
No, I have Wyoming, and I mean, most of my investments are in Texas, including my complex,
So you use that LLC.
so I do them.
But if California find out that you have an out-of-state LLC, they will require you to register that LLC.
Yeah, even today, if they look into you and find that.
That's only if I invest in California.
You're not a resident of California?
I'm a resident of California.
You're
But
still
I'm not-
required to do that.
That's not,
I think they don't know, but if you want to invest here in California,
then I would have to have a California, yes. But if I'm investing otherwhere, that's why I don't
Then
have
they
to.
don't
Then I
care.
can't. So that's the only thing that I don't like about
California, yeah, it's just expensive, cause other state it is like $200, here's $800 every year.
Wyoming is around 60.
Well, 160 per year, it's expensive.
Any other questions?
Yeah, how much are third-party management fees again, if you do third-party, because here I see 6%, so that's really low.
I'm getting rid of this.
Oh, you got rid of them?
Because I feel like we do 80% of the work,
Oh,
so.
it's not worth it.
So there's a huge difference
It is
between
6%.
property management and assisted living versus property management and apartments.
Yeah.
Property management and assisted living, they're very hands-off. They do everything from afar. They're almost never at the community, and this is every company we talk to. And their solution to everything is, okay, let's hire a marketing director. Okay, let's hire an operations director.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hire a culinary director. And we are specifically buying these size communities because they're too big for the caregiver world to generally purchase, right? you know, caregivers buy 6-bed houses and they operate the 6-bed model, and there's nothing wrong with that model. We are buying 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 beds because it's too small for the big boys, it's too big for the little guys, and then we create the scalability by buying multiples in a similar market, and then we're able to double down on marketing, networking, sales, operations, in-house management, vertical this, vertical that, maintenance, and handyman services and all that stuff. So we're able to get the scalability of the big boys, but we're not competing with them for these size communities. And then we will package them up and sell them off to an institutional investor down the road who will buy that portfolio. And with that portfolio, they get the social media, the marketing, the networking, the sales people that we brought in. Like our 2 communities, we have a salesperson who is very good, and we tend to hire inexperienced individuals so we can train them and teach them our way versus trying to teach an old dog new tricks. And it's worked out really well in the apartment building world for our in-house managers, as well as the people in the, not the operations part of the assisted living, but the sales part of the assisted living. People that are younger and hungrier.
If you
in the
sell it,
industry.
would they want a management company? If you sell it, would they want it to be systematic?
No, because it'll be all vertically integrated.
Oh, I see.
They don't want that third-party manager.
Oh, they don't want that.
Because you gotta rely on that person, and that's a big expense. On a 40-bed community or a 30-bed community, most management companies want anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 a month minimum. That's minimum. So 10,000 a month minimum times 12 months, that's 120 grand out of the 200, 245. So, you know, that adds up. And it's a $10,000 a month minimum, $8,000 a month minimum, or 6%, which is it 6 or 8? 6%, whichever is greater. You know.
But the goal is, I mean, we have to have this one in order to qualify for the loan.
Oh, I see.
It's
So
the standard
SBA wanted that.
requirement, but once we, you know, our goal right now is with transition to more of a vertical, that's where we hire a regional director and we train.
Director,
Yes.
The director is the top manager.
Exactly, but our goal is to transition out of this and then we'll go vertical or self-manage. And I work very closely with the staff to look over payroll expenses, so I work with this number, like this is what I do all day. I look at the expenses, right, food and kitchen, how much we spend, why are we paying so much this month on payroll compared to last month? So I look at this number every day, in order to be as close to this as I possibly can. But one of the things we're working on right now is to get rid of this management company. And that's, I feel like the best way for us to grow is to control the costs. Management companies, great as they are, a lot of them, you know, like for example, when she bought a stove and they say, the management company have this guy come and would install it for 2,000.
Yeah, so,
We
so
can find
we,
someone who do it for
yeah, so we
500.
should just, as an example, we bought a $9,000 stove this week. It got delivered, literally got delivered yesterday. And the management company, it's not their pocketbook that it comes out of, so it's a little bit different. So they called Zips, that's the true name, Zips Appliances to install it. It was $1,800 for the install, plus $400 to remove the old unit. So I was like, no, that's not gonna, like, is there something special, is there something I'm missing? And so long story short, we get an in-house handyman to install it, and then I get my plumber to double check it just because of the gas lines and whatnot, and it cost me $400. And we scrapped the old one and I get $300 in scrap metal. So it cost me $100 versus $2,300. That's one expense. You know, that's one little mishap. Multiply that times 4 a month, and it absolutely kills your numbers. You know, for another example is we had a management company want to purchase a $6,000 printer. We don't really need a printer, number one. It's nice to have, but we send all of our printing out, we outsource it. $6,000 printer, and they're like, well, we have the $6 grand, we don't really wanna spend the $6 grand, so we leased it. Well, what's the lease terms? It's $35,000 over 5 years. I'm like, what the fuck? First year's, like, how can you do that? That's not your money. Luckily, we were able to get out of that contract, but that was, now we have to forcibly oversee that management company to a T. And so we're babysitting the babysitter, so why not just erase the babysitter?
Yeah.
but we needed them for a couple months in order to satisfy the SBA loan requirement. You know, so you take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
You know, but moving forward, they will not be, in-house.
Yeah, that's spend your money.
Yeah, yeah. Any other questions? Everybody should invest in assisted living, moral of the story. Much appreciated. This is Elsa, I'm Garrison, and we are
Good stuff.
Let me, take a picture of that.
Here's this, like this, contact info is here. Thank you, thank you.
Wait, not yet.
Not yet.
It's not going out. We'll take about a 5-10 minute break, so we'll go to the restroom, get some water, grab a sandwich, and then we'll have our next speaker up, and see you in a little bit.
No, that's good, man, that's good.
Yeah, I know.
You gotta start somewhere, but that's, like I say,
Disability insurance. It was for a year.
yeah, yeah, feel free, you have the info, right?
Gradually start.
Bye, Brian, thank you.
I'll be one of those, you know. I'll be one of those.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Flavor water.
Because a lot of people like it. It's almost like who do you live by yourself or do you
like the area?
So did you want to get your parents extremely book smart. He went to dance, graduated. So much for you. What are you He's not. He's not. He'll care about what you do. Okay, he grew up in Great job of still taking that money when it was fired.
Small charge.
But it was just interesting, I think,
I don't know, maybe one day.
afterwards, there is a market for good guy outside of the supermarket. I guess it's just like being a grocery store.
I love doing it. Love doing it.
I mean, yeah, it's never wrong.
But I want to be able to do
Somebody else I ended up talking to before them, and they were just saying the things that they were looking for. They said, we want, this is like for large multifamily and large, this is 4 years ago now, based on the baby boom, not obviously I don't live with the baby boom. No, I was kidding. But you know what I mean, it's just, I mean, that just totally rang a bell because it makes sense. Again, I come in late, if you're 65, so that's what I was saying. I was always taking care of my work out. It was really, they both said at the same time, oh, it was really terrific. That was, and then, you know, we found a place we kind of liked because it was people that owned it. They wanted to go right here. They showed me enjoyed it. Try to figure out how to place it.
And what's it now? Are you speaking? You think so? Just make sure.
Yeah, so this is
Real estate agent, so I'm also an investor in town, yeah, selling real estate for 5 years, but, you know, just for a side. So just, you know, I have something on commercial. Yeah, great one. That's why
Okay.
That's just, my friend, Olivia owns that property. She does weddings there, receptions, and we did our first, membership event there last year. Outdoor, yeah, the bar, yeah, thank you for yours, thank you. Love it, I love it.
All right. Everyone get to use the restroom. It's water.
Get back on.
All right. Thank you, Garrison and Elsa, for that. That was great. Always love hearing what you guys are doing out there in the Central Valley. What can we do to bring that up here? We need that. I think of my parents. They're like in their 70s or early 70s. And,
Yay!
you know, I mean, some people are in that situation. That my parents, they've had the house forever. The house is paid off, so they've got a home. But not everyone's in that situation. There is a need, a huge need for that up here. But anyways, all over. But that being said, thank you very much. If you guys didn't get their info, they're here still. But feel free to reach out. Our next speaker here is Tom. I actually met him. He came to our investment event last year. He was a visitor, and I met him and then started following him. I actually went to another event, saw him there in San Jose last year, started following him, and he's got some really good stuff. I'm excited to hear what he's doing. So come on down, Tom, and see what you got, man.
Yeah. Sure, yeah. Pleasure to be here. It's a beautiful day, Saturday. This is the hardworking group coming out early, right? It was 9 a.m., but I'm glad that wasn't 9 a.m. anymore. I was still sleeping at 9 a.m. But yeah, thank you, Josh, for bringing us in and set up this event. You got good food. It's very rare to have good food at an event. It's usually like chips and peanuts or something. But we have good food. We have good speakers. I'm really excited about assisted living. I think that's amazing, right? So if anyone wants to invest with Garrison and Elsa, let me know. And then I'll give you the 10%, and then I'll return your money in 3 years. But I'll keep the residual part. See, that's how we're gonna do that. Yeah, so real estate is an amazing tool. And I love real estate because it's very collaborative type of business. We all have to work together. You can't do this alone. So we're gonna jump straight into our section. And we are Alpha X RE Capital. My name is Tom Tran. For those that we haven't met, I would love to meet every one of you because you're all bright, smart people wanting to learn, seek knowledge. A lot of people want to invest, but they don't seek knowledge. So we are also Apex Homes, so we're going to touch a little bit about that too. So we started building a lot of ADUs in the Bay Area. So we'll touch on that in a little bit, but let's talk about Alpha X RE Capital. What is that? What is that? What is Alpha X RE Capital? What does it sound like?
A lender.
A lender. It sounds like a lender. Okay, that's good feedback. Yeah, we're a real estate investment development company founded by Stephanie. So a lot of our founders are actually women. So we're one of the first women-owned development company and one of the largest in the Bay Area. Yeah, 70% women-owned. I got lucky. I'm the 30%. Yeah, I'm the minority here. So I'm outnumbered every day. I'm outnumbered. So here is a very quick glimpse of our leadership team. So Stephanie's our founder. And we started flipping a lot of houses together, me and Stephanie, back in 2017. And then she's like, hey Tom, we actually work well together. Why don't we just team up, make it formal and official? So I'm like, sure, why not? Because they have more money and resources. Yeah, so what would be the secret to success? What do y'all think? What is the secret to success?
Having financing.
Financing, exactly, money.
Money.
Right? Yeah, leverage, yeah, you have to have all that. And there's another secret. If you look at the picture,
Buy low, sell high.
That's a good team.
surround yourself with smarter women. Smarter women, yeah. Good looking is a bonus, but smarter women. See, Garrison did it right. Garrison surrounded himself by a smarter woman. See? So I got 3 smarter women. So that made me 3 times smarter than I originally was, right? So that's the only reason why I'm successful, is because we have these amazing women partners that we team up with. So that's a little bit about us and our team. And this is a quick glimpse of where we're at today. We're a vertically integrated company. So what does that mean? That means we started off as investing in real estate, and then we made enough money to buy a cabinet store. So we started a cabinet store, and then we made enough money to bring in an in-house architect, and then we brought in the construction team. We're also a licensed contractor. So we're vertically integrated. We have all these departments that services the developments, and it all comes in handy. And we have a real estate brokerage as well, but it's all in-house. Think of it kind of like a Google for developments. All the companies, we buy out the small service companies. So we're mainly in real estate single family. So we're gonna talk a lot about real estate single family. But after today, I might switch to assisted living. It's so attractive. 7,000 a room. We can only get 7,000, like, that's a $2 million house, right? It's very expensive in the Bay Area. So we currently own a lot of properties in the Bay Area. We have over 100 rental properties that we bought and kept during the downtimes, 2017, 2018. But we flipped a lot too. We flipped a lot of it. That's our main income from flipping, and then now we transition into building. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So let's go all the way back. Everyone, meet my parents. My parents, Tom Boo, that's my dad. He's in real estate. Have you guys seen this commercial? No. Yeah, Tom Boo, yeah. That's my dad. He met Barbara Crocker on a boat. See that boat? See that picture? That's my mom and dad that made me. So that's how Tom Tran was created. Isn't that amazing?
Where does the Tran come from?
I got a nickname. Yeah, that's good. Good question. My name should be Tom Boo. But good question. Yes. So I'm in real estate because of my parents. See, they're both in real estate. So let's rewind all the way back to when I was born. I was born in a long time ago. I'm 50 now. I was born a long time ago, but just kidding, I'm not 50, but I'm almost 50. But I was born in Vietnam, in the jungles of Vietnam, and I'm the inventor of the tiny house. So I had the first 1 square feet house. And then I'm 92 years old. We escaped Vietnam because of the war, things like that. And then we had to find our way to America. So maybe some of you had a similar journey. You had to find your way here. So we're very fortunate to be here because not many people made it, right? Millions of people fled Vietnam, but only 100,000 or so probably actually made it. Yeah, so we're very lucky that we made it here. So guess how did we get here?
Boat.
Yeah, we had to go by boat, we had to swim, I had to walk. As soon as I'm 2 years old, I have to walk my way out already. Yeah, I have to walk my way out of there. And then we have to fly to here, right? We have to fly to Mexico and then walk our way over. So that's how we got here.
Really?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. It's made. I made that up, but it sounds more dramatic.
It's possible.
Yeah, it sounds more dramatic, but we're here, and that is the number one thing. We're very fortunate to be here in America, in California. Out of all the states, California, the best, highest rents, right? California, great weather, good people, very diverse. So imagine our family coming to America, nothing to do, no career, right? No degree, no English. So what can we do to make money? What do you think we can do to make money if you don't have anything? No English? Clean houses, babysit. I remember my mom was babysitting like 5 kids at a time. I was like, man, why is there so many kids here? And then I had to help them too because they're always home with us. But it was interesting because they became our friends too. So I had a great experience growing up because I was surrounded by a lot of people. And I think that's the key to success, is people. All right? Even as a little kid, we had friends everywhere because my mom always babysits. How much did she get paid per kid? Let's think about that. How much do you think she got paid? No, not back then. It was like $500 a month.
Not enough.
Nothing, minimum wage, nothing. She barely made any money. And then as she's babysitting the kids, she would sew some clothes. What do you call that? Tailoring. She would do some tailoring to make another $5, right? Here and there. And then on top of that, she would clean houses to make some money. And then I would join her in middle school because I was bored at home. I was like, I'll come help. I want to make some money. Guess how much she paid me? $5. She was fair. She was pretty fair. She gave me $5 per house. I was like, yeah. I made $5. I can buy a McDonald's meal. I can take a girl out on a date to Burger King or buy a movie ticket. So that was my motivation to work, just so I can go on dates. Yeah, in middle school. But now, fast forward a little bit. Even though she barely made any money, my mom was still able to buy a house in Santa Clara. Isn't that interesting?
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah, so how did she do that? She just saved, barely enough. Maybe like 10% down payment, right? Save. She bought a house for $250K. So that really inspired me, like, wow, you're barely making money, but you're actually able to buy a house. That's the American dream right there, right? We made it all this way just to buy a house. Luckily, the prices didn't shoot up because now it's impossible for her to buy a house. Yeah, in Santa Clara too. Now her house is probably like 1.5. Yeah. So sometimes life, it's hard, it's tough, but you keep on doing it. You keep on doing it, you keep on trying, you say whatever you can, you keep on doing it to get to your one goal, just to buy a house, or just to invest, or just to start somewhere, right? So I started real estate early, luckily because my brother, he opened up an office in Sacramento. So right after high school, I was like, wow, I want to do what you do, because he drove a nice car, he always wear nice suits, and then he bought a big house in Roseville. Big house, 3,000 square feet for like $800,000. Gated community, he was making tons of money. Back in 2006, I was like, wow, I want to live your life. So I moved up right away after high school. I was like, I want to try it, get my real estate license right away. And then guess what happened? We had that lifestyle for 1 year. And then it all went downhill. He lost everything. He lost 3 offices. He lost his cars, his suits, his house. Every single house he lost. Every single house. Even lost his fiance because his fiance or his wife, so imagine that. Imagine that. Real estate's very volatile, it's very strange, right? So he made a lot of money. So that's my first taste of real estate. I get licensed in the market crash.
That's scary.
Yeah, very scary. I'm like, wow, why is the real estate so hard? I thought it was easy. He made it look easy. He was driving nice cars, eating at every nice restaurant every day. I was like, this is easy. I can do it. But it's actually very hard. So the only reason why we survived in Sacramento after the market crash is because my brother went to every single real estate conference in America to find who are the bank-owned asset management companies. Every single conferences. If you count how many conferences you went to, I wouldn't even know. Maybe like 100 conferences. Every single conference. Just like today, this is kind of like a conference. You're coming out to meet people, to seek knowledge. He did that to try to find business. And then he actually found one bank that said, hey, we'll give you a shot. Yeah, sell this one REO for us. And then we'll see how it goes. So we started with one REO. And then we got another one, right? Because we outperform other agents. We work harder. We try to do the best we can to impress them. And then we get 5 REO properties. And then other banks notice us. So we're like, let's apply as many as we can. So other banks hire us. Then we get another 5. Sometimes they drop 10 a day on you. And they expect you to see every single house, take a picture, report occupancy that day. You have to finish that day. They have time frames for everything. It's like having a job that doesn't pay very well because they only paid us like 2% or even sometimes 1% to manage all the house for the bank owned. And the prices were very low back then. How much were the prices back in Sacramento when the market crashed?
That Roseville house was probably about $250.
It went to 800 and then it dropped to maybe like two, yeah. Everything dropped 70%. It's crazy, 70%. So we're making what, 1 to 2% on 100K, 20K. And then sometimes the houses were like 35,000. How much do you make on 35,000? They had minimum commissions of 2,500. Yeah, that was the minimum.
They started paying 3% in the beginning in 2007,
Mm-hmm.
and then little by little, then they started outsourcing.
Yeah.
And you had to be at 5 o'clock in the morning
Right.
talking to somebody out
From
of the
New
country
York
that didn't
or out of
even
the
know
country.
what real estate looked like.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The
it
RO
was
town is crazy. It's unorganized. No one knew which direction you're gonna go. But that's the
It
only thing we
was
could
good
do.
for a while.
It's good for a while. Yeah. So they started dropping tons of properties on us. And then we were selling 30 a month, 50 a month, all bank owned. But you're doing a lot of work. You're doing everything for the bank. You're turning on utilities. You're fixing it for them. You're listing it. You're doing more than the average agent, and you're putting out money. So you have to pay the vendors, and they get reimbursed, and sometimes it takes a month or 2. So it's a very interesting business model. It was good, but it's also very time-consuming and takes a lot of money to run it. And a big team. But it was a good experience as a young kid, right? I get to sell all these houses. Like, wow, this is fun. Yeah, good experience. We didn't make a lot of money because the price is low, but it's a good experience. So sometimes in real estate, you don't need to make a lot of money. The experience will return you money in the long term. So we became top in terms of sales volume in the region, a couple hundred houses a year. So it was a good experience to get all that. So now we sold over 1,000 houses, mostly in Sacramento. So I don't regret it at all. It's great. Even though we didn't make much, I love every part of it because I learned about real estate. So fast forward to 2017, I see a lot of people buying these houses and flipping them. So I'm like, maybe I should try that because we see all the investors buying our inventory. We can't buy it because we're the listing agent, right? We can't buy it, but they bought it cheap, right? They bought it for like 100, 200. They would flip it for 300, 400. So that was exciting. So I decided to shift back to Bay Area back in 2014 because our family grew up here. So back home to my mom, spent my time. And then also the real estate prices in Bay Area are amazing. There's no cap. The highest price in Sacramento at the time, maybe like 800, $900, $1 million. Bay Area, that's just to start, right? So Bay Area is very different. It's very dynamic. Everyone has money. Every buyer in Sacramento is like an FHA buyer or VA buyer, right? Every buyer in the Bay Area is probably like a cash or $500K down payment. The buyers down here in the Bay Area have a lot of money, so it's more dynamic market, it's more interesting. So we decided to flip down here. So this was our very first flip back in 2017. So we went back to 2017. Prices were getting higher, but it wasn't that high, right? It wasn't too high. So I started emailing blast all the agents because I knew realtors have deals, right? So I email blast. I got a list of all the realtors on the MLS,
Just download it, it's very easy. And then start email blasting. Hey, you have anything coming up, you can represent us and all that. So I got our first deal by email blasting. He said, yeah, actually I do. The owner is gonna lose the house to foreclosure, so they'll be happy if they get 800. And then I run the comps. The area at the time was hitting like $1 million, $1,050,000. So I'm like, maybe it's not that bad, right? Yeah, buy it for 800, sell it for $1,050,000. And then this is a townhouse. It's actually nice condition. So you see the kitchen. It's not bad. We just painted it. We didn't change the kitchen. We only changed the bathroom. And then the floor and everything is pretty good. So we only put in maybe 75 grand. So 800 plus 75 grand. Guess how much we sold it for? Yeah, 150. That's not bad, right? Not bad for the first flip. First flip, I'm like, wow, flipping is easy. That's what I thought. Flipping is easy because I got lucky with the deal. Very easy remodel, no roof, right? It's townhouse. But throughout the years, we learned a lot of lessons, so we'll share that too. It's never easy. But what's interesting is now, look at the power of real estate. How much is that property worth now if we just kept it and did nothing, just ran it out? Or live in it, just live in it and enjoy it, right? Yeah, we could have made 800,000. Yeah, doing nothing. So that's the power of real estate. You just hang on to it, right? 5-10 years, just like assist living. 7 years, it's gonna double. That's amazing. Real estate can double in the Bay Area very fast. Sometimes we've seen that in a year, sometimes we've seen that in a couple of years, but everything can double. So we should have kept it. That would have been a smarter decision, right? But it's nice to make 100K initially as well. So it's hard to say no to 100K when you're young and just getting started. Yeah, we worry about markets and holding costs. So our holding cost is really high still. It's like $6,000-7,000 a month. So the rent doesn't cover the holding costs. So that's why we can't keep it. But if we kept it, it would have went up. So it's interesting, right? Everything's interesting. So here's a big question in real estate, in flipping and construction. Should you do with permits or no permits? Permits or no permits? What do you guys think? Who would fix with permits? Yeah. Most half?
Too much liability.
Too much liability. Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah. It depends.
On what the permit is.
Exactly. So in real estate.
If you're putting in air conditioning like my guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get a permit for that.
Yeah, because it's so simple.
I could get, I know the guy, he's as good as you can get.
Yeah.
We didn't go down
Yeah,
and get a
it's
permit.
against contractor law though. If it's permits required and he doesn't get a permit, then he'll lose his license.
And we'll have it removed.
Yeah,
If you're
Well,
transferring
I'm not
it,
saying that was something I did about 10 years ago.
the thing is you wanna transfer the liability to somebody
Yeah,
else.
no, I
Yeah.
understand.
You know?
Yeah, before it was easier, before it easy, and then a lot of people do no permits. But then now you have all the disclosures.
You have to get a permit to put in windows?
Yeah, exactly. Everything is crazy. Yeah, everything they want permits now. Then the buyers even want it now too. So before we got away with a lot of permits, right? But now the buyers want permits. They want to know who did it, all that, because all the disclosures make you say to disclose exactly who did the work. So now we get. Yeah, what's that?
That's a way for the city to make money too.
Yeah, the city makes money, but buyers actually like it. So buyers would pay slightly more if it has all permits.
Yeah.
So we see the benefit now, but back then we're just doing quick in and out, no permits. So things change, and it depends. It depends all the time, right? It depends. So how do we find contractors? So that's the permit side, and then how do we find contractors? We build communities. So by building Facebook communities, things like that, we actually network a lot of people and find good contractors to team up with. So it's interesting. Real estate led us to flipping, which led us to a little bit of construction because we built this community. And then everything always leads to one thing next, right? It's very fascinating how the journey goes. So because we run this and we own this, we got invited to be a part of a cabinet store. So we get part ownership to be a part of the cabinet store because we have a big following. So it's kind of amazing. So we'll go over that in a little bit too. So now here's the big question. Can you still flip houses in the Bay Area? Even though it's expensive? Yeah. You can always find an opportunity, right? Yeah. Even Elsa and Garrison still flip houses too in the Bay Area because you can always find an opportunity somewhere There's always something somewhere. You just have to look. You have to look hard enough, right? So here's our Instagram. We like to track every single flip in the Bay Area because we're kind of nosy. We want to know how much they bought it. We want to know how much they sold it for. We want to know who's their agents. We want all that data and knowledge, so it makes us a little bit sharper for our next flip. So Flip the Bear, there's hundreds of flips. Check out this one that our friend actually just flipped it. Matt just flipped it. Check out the price. You can even check it out on Redfin. 5040 McCoy Avenue. 5040 McCoy Avenue. He bought it for 1.1. Look how much he sold it for. Is that amazing? Just one flip.
He got some permits and did some stuff.
He got permits.
No, I'm not saying, it looks like maybe like a remodel maybe.
Yeah, it's a full remodel. I don't think he extended because he did it really fast. I don't think it's an extension because the house is still small. The house is still only like 1,200 square feet. Yeah, it's still, yeah.
Did he just do this?
He just did it, yeah.
I went to go look at it. It's not even updated on the Google yet.
Really?
But I see the contractor stuff on the house, so they're clearly demoing stuff out. So.
Yeah.
You know the car goes by and it takes photos of it.
Oh yeah. So they did that like 8 months or less. Not even a full year. Not even a full year. They made probably $1 million net because the remodel is only like 100 to 200K. They made $1 million net in one deal. Yeah.
Actually, 364,000.
Yeah.
About 3,675.
We just estimate for fun, but we don't know the exact cost. We put a high number because it's a nice remodel, but it's probably 200K based on that size. It's very small. It's only 1,200 square feet. How big is the house? Is only like 1,200 square feet or 13. Yeah, 2.5. That's crazy. 913Z. It's kind of southwest Cambrian-ish.
Is that everything?
It's kind of like Cambrian, Willow Glen. Cambrian, yeah. It's not like the best area, but they did a good remodel, the right buyer at the right time, before all the terrorists and things like that, right? Because now buyers are more skeptical. So he sold it perfect timing. So real estate is all about timing too. If he listed on the market right now, he'll probably only get 2.2, 2.3, which is still good. He still makes $700,000. Not bad, right? $700,000, not bad for one flip, less than a year. Who would like to make $700,000 on a flip? Yeah, quick flip, all day, yes. So there's still opportunities. And here's another big question. How to lose money in real estate? Does anyone want to lose money in real estate? It's great, you get tax write-off, and you get headache and stress, and you can't sleep. It's great. I recommend losing money in real estate. The reason why I recommend it is because it's going to teach you something. You're going to get burned, and then you'll be like, man, I'm not going to do that again. Yeah, so I saw this property on the MOS. Let's go over the first one, Vallejo. It was on the MOS, it's bank owned, it was only $300,000. I'm like, it's really cheap for a house. $300,000, right? It's cheaper than a mobile home. So I'm like, what can go wrong here? $300,000, cheap. So I was thinking remodel is only gonna be 50K, right? But nothing's ever 50K in remodeling. It ends up being 100K. Everything's wrong with the house. The electrical is wrong, foundation's wrong, there's rat poop everywhere. It's on the main road, so you get weird problems. Busy road, yeah, busy road. And we get people breaking in, they peed all over the floor. I don't know why they peed on the floor. We have 2 bathrooms that are remodeled. But they could hold it. But they peed all over the floor. So you get weird problems like that. So cheap houses, cheap things, cheap areas, you get weird problems. So we stay away from that now. And I should know better. I've been doing this flipping a long time. And I still made that mistake, right? So now I really pull back and only focus in nicer areas. We did another one, El Cerrito. We sold it for 1.150, but guess how much we lost? We lost like 50K. So why is that? Why did we lose 50K?
Location.
Location is very weak, weak demand, and then the remodel is really expensive. El Cerrito, they're very strict on their permitting and all that. It takes forever. It's a small town, so small towns have slow permit process. They don't have inspectors. They have to outsource it because they don't have those full-time employees. So it takes forever for permits. And then it's so far, so our construction is high. That little house probably cost us like 150, 200K. So you see how little houses far is not good either. We started off really good. It's the same numbers as the townhouse, 800, and then sell for $1.1 million. It looks good on paper, but after long permitting process, repairs, we lost 50K. Yeah, we lost 50K. So at the end of the day, it's not worth it. The far ones that we're not familiar with, it's not worth it. So we try to stay local. Here's another one, a big lesson. Does anyone want to learn how to get into a lawsuit? It's also amazing. It's fun. We get to talk to an attorney. We got sued. We submitted an offer non-contingent because we saw this house had 12 bedrooms. I was thinking, wow, 12 bedrooms. I can rent out each room for like $1,000. Maybe I'll do assisted living. I don't know. I'll do something because it has 12 bedrooms. So we submitted an offer non-contingent, 3% EMD, 1.4, that's like 50K EMD. And then, guess what happened? We get into contract, we're like, yeah, we won, 12 bedrooms. 12 bedrooms, we can do a lot here. That's 12K a month cash flow, right? Rental. That's what we were thinking. And then guess what happens around that time frame? COVID happens, and then the lender pulled out. They said, sorry, I can't fund this because COVID and economy, and I can't fund it. And then we also found out there's code violations with the house. There's code violations.
12 bad, too bad.
Yeah, exactly. I should have known better. There's something wrong there. If a house has 12 bedrooms, it's probably not permitted and not up to code.
Yeah.
So don't get tricked by that large number count. It doesn't matter. And it's a very old house, 1908. Yeah, 1908. Who was born in 1908? George Washington or Joe Biden, I don't know. Who was born in 1908? Who was born in 1908? I don't even know, right? That is an old house. That is an old house. You do not want to touch an old house. There's a lot of problems and a lot of code violations. So we didn't know there's code violations until we got into contract. But this is a probate sale. So probate sale, they use probate contracts. Does probate contract have arbitration clause?
I guess not.
No. So what you're seeing right here is not a probate contract. This is the best thing you can do in real estate for yourself as a buyer because it's limited to the loss of the earnest deposit, which is 3%.
That's up there though.
That's up, yeah, somewhere up there.
That's arbitration,
Yeah.
liquidated.
Or liquidated damages. Yeah, exactly. Liquidated damages and arbitration mediation. You have all these steps before you hit the lawsuits. So imagine in probate, you don't have any of that. So how much money can you lose in a lawsuit in a probate? Unlimited to what the seller wants to sue you for. Unlimited. Because we're an investor, it's non-contingent, there's no liquidated damages. It's unlimited loss to what they want to sue you. So we went to court for that. And we lost a lot of money. Probably like over 200 or 300K. Because we lost our deposit, and then they're complaining that they lost value, home value, right? And then we had to pay attorney fees. So that's a big loss for a 12 bedroom.
Their attorney fees too, cause you lost.
We have to cover it, yeah, we have to cover it. And then, because we're the investor, we're supposed to know better, and it's non-contingent, that's the problem. And it's probate contract. So every time you work with a probate contract, be very cautious. I never knew that. It had no liquidated damages, right? So unlimited loss, that's very scary. During COVID too, that's when everything is going down, they just went after us. They had a really good attorney. I would hire their attorney. Their attorney is good. Yeah, so learning lessons, a lot of learning lessons. So now fast forward a little bit, what are we doing now? Where's the opportunities? Flipping is good. You can also do additions to add value to the house. So in San Jose or anywhere, you can buy a house low 1 million and then add 500 square feet. San Jose is really good. They'll approve your permit in 3 to 4 weeks. Very quick.
Well, they used to not be.
It used to not be yet. Yeah, it used to not be fast, but now it's quick. Yeah, now it's quick. That's my contractor right there. He just started. Yeah. It's not very fast though. But,
It's got a lot of energy.
he's cheap.
A lot of energy.
Yeah.
No,
He's starting like
He's not
you did.
cheap.
Yeah.
He's not
1
cheap.
square foot.
That's right. 1 square feet at a time. Yeah.
Right, that's right.
So we got this for $975 last year. And then over 1 year, the benefit of extending is that you get appreciation over a year. So we love doing extension projects.
Oh, yeah.
And now we turn into 4-bedroom, 3-bath. So it's gonna be very interesting, 1,500 square feet. So we're gonna be done this month. If anyone wants to come down and see this live extension project in person, it's gonna be a beautiful house. So you see how it's a nice little box in a way? We just add 500 square feet, nice and clean. Big corner lots. Yeah. So if anyone's curious about what it costs, architect fees, $18K. That includes structure and all that. And then this is the floor plan now. It's kind of hard to see a lot of lines going on, but just imagine
Oh, that's good.
a whole living room, bedroom 1, bedroom 2, bedroom 3, master, huge bathroom. We have a huge master bathroom.
That's really popular out in San Jose. A lot of people, when I did inspections down
Yeah.
there, were adding on like almost all of the people I went to.
Yeah, yeah.
Make money.
To make money, because the value jumps up like crazy. The value can double once you extend it. So foundation, 30K. And then framing is the expensive part, 60K, just for framing. Yeah, very expensive, but we raised the ceiling like crazy. It's really high vaulted ceilings.
It'll be more now because we get 80% of our lumber from Canada.
That's correct, yeah. The framing's gonna go up
Look out.
by 20-30% or more, yeah. Everything's gonna go up now, so that means,
Gave me a chill.
yeah. And then home prices will go up, because it has to adjust for that. Yes, so this is our bathroom design. It has a tub, double sink,
That's nice.
yeah, a walk-in shower. We try to fit all the features to try to hit that highest price in the neighborhood. In order to hit the highest price, you have to have the best materials. So that's the vaulted ceiling now. Big kitchen. Yeah, it went from small house to now a nice big house. So here's some quick comps. This is how you can estimate how much we can sell for. Some of them sold 1.6, 1,100 square feet. Right? We're 1,500 square feet. So how much can we hit? Maybe like 1.7, 1.8, right? 1.7, 1.8. We're really gonna try to push it. We're gonna try to push 1.850 because we're the only one designed like that. Yeah.
4-bedroom.
And we're 4-bedroom and we're 3-bathroom.
So yeah.
And we're a corner lot. So I think we can hit 1.8, 1.850, right?
1.7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1.6, 1.7 is safe. We're gonna push it. Yeah, we're gonna try to push it. So how much is the remodel for a addition like that?
Total?
Yeah, total.
300.
300 exactly. Yeah, 300-ish, maybe 350 with landscaping.
Yeah.
So buy for $1 million, put in 350, sell for 1.7, 1.8. So there's still some room, maybe about 100, 200K, and then you get a little appreciation, right? So over the years. So now we force the value because there's too many flippers out there,
Yeah.
right? Every realtor's a flipper, every home inspector's a flipper, right? Everyone's a flipper. They watch too much of those HGTV. Everyone is inspired to buy a flip. So it's very competitive. So we try to create the opportunity instead of just buying discounted houses. So from all the experience of flipping and construction and building, we started to figure out how to reduce the cost of construction. And then a lot of our friends and clients say, hey, can you help us build an ADU? So we're like, maybe that could be good too because there's such a huge demand. So we started building ADUs at 300 square feet. Or before I mentioned that, how much do you think it costs to build an ADU? Price per square feet, new construction in the Bay Area. What is the cost per square feet?
Without looking at yours.
Yeah, $300? Yeah, that's our cost. But how much, all the contractors, how much do you think?
Like 5 to 600.
500 to 600. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Contractors are charging
Depends who they're
400.
subbing out to, right?
Yeah, they're subbing it out. They have to make a profit. They're doing 400 to 500 price per square feet. We're building at 300. So how are we able to build at 300 price per square feet?
Good question.
Yeah, let's take a guess. How are we building so low?
Are you building all the house?
Not prefab. This is ground up construction
Ground
too.
up
You
Right.
guys have your own in-house people or what?
Your own construction.
Supplies.
We have in-house supplies, we have the in-house construction, and then we share the sub costs. We do over 100 houses a year, we're building over 100 houses. We share that subcontractor cost to our client. So
our model here is not to make money on the ADUs. Our model is to build it at cost, which is an interesting model, right?
Yeah.
We're building at cost. Why would we want to build at cost?
Increase your name in the neighborhood.
Yes.
For referrals.
Yes, exactly. We're purely doing it to build a reputation and to put our banners all over the Bay Area. Because our goal, you seen our banners. Our goal is to have 100 of these, and then 200 of these, and then 300 of these. We're gonna systemize the way construction is built. So we have 2 warehouses, 40,000 square feet each. We pre-built the framing before we even start because it's the same floor plan. So a lot of our floor plans are pre-approved with the city of San Jose and now Sunnyvale and now Cupertino.
Oh, great.
So what does that mean? Pre-approved.
Oh, they already
Ready to go.
Plan check, they're ready to
They
go.
were plan check. You get permits another 3-4 weeks.
It's a tried
Yeah.
and true by then, let's pass it through.
Yes, we were gonna build so many. Our
Sunnyvale
plans.
sucks.
Yeah, Sunnyvale's getting a little bit better,
Yeah.
and now other cities are starting to adopt that. So we have 6 floor plans from 1 story to 2 story, 500 square feet to 1,200 square feet. So we can build ADUs fast, and we can build at cost. So that's our advantage, and we don't have to make money because what is our profit driver in this business?
Repeat business with.
Our developments and flipping. That's what makes money. So the ADUs, we do it more for the experience, the city knowledge, the reputation. So we're doing it at cost. We're not making much, but we don't need to. We don't need to make money on the ADUs. We're gonna be we just want the title to have the most ADUs built in the Bay Area, and then we're gonna get there very soon. Yeah, hopefully with everyone's help, because if everyone refers 1 ADU, see, that's really like 10, 20 ADUs in here. Yeah, and these are ground up. It looks very nice. Actually, maybe we can look at one. Would you like to see one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an ADU right here. Not prefab, ground up. Can I put allow or don't allow? Don't allow.
How do you compare with like mighty buildings?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're prefab, they
Yeah.
come in with the crane, how do you compare with that?
Yeah,
Same floor plan as an example.
yeah. So, yeah, good question. How do we compare with prefab? Maybe I'll mute this. So, how do we compare with prefab? The problem with prefab is you have to crane it in. You have to build a stronger foundation, and then if something goes wrong in the future, only the builder knows how to fix it because it's built differently. Everything's different. It's not 2x4. It's panels and machine built.
Yeah.
So imagine if a plumbing issue happens, what are you gonna do? You can't call a handyman. Handyman will be like, I don't know how this was plumbed because it's different.
Really?
Yeah, everything's different. The electrical is different. The plumbing is different because it's made to be a Lego and connect. Regular ground up construction is made to be reachable through the drywall. You can just take down the drywall anywhere and you can reach anywhere you need in the house. So prefab is different because these are panels that are already pre-constructed and they're thicker, good insulation. But how do you fix it? Right? Who do you call to fix? I'm not sure. So prefab is good and bad, and then the foundation is expensive, and then it's kind of ugly. Prefab kind of looks like a mobile home with a slanted roof. That is a prefab, right? I haven't seen nice prefabs yet. And then you have the pole in the middle. So because it's prefab, they always have some pole in the middle, kind of holding it up.
Those are the fold open ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah.
Those are tiny houses, yeah.
Tiny
My son
houses.
lives in one of those,
Mhm.
and it's crap.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
really
exactly,
is.
exactly.
There's no insulation, actually.
Right.
It's freezing in the winter and
Yeah.
it's hell in the summer. It's electrical sucks.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly why ground up construction is always better.
Tiny house trap.
Ground up construction is always better. Oh, this is our development in Campbell. So we built ADUs everywhere. I'm gonna jump back to the slides somehow. This one? This one. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna jump back to the slides.
What does ADU stand for?
Accessory dwelling unit. So like a second unit. Yeah. Or people say additional
Or
dwelling
the
unit.
mother-in-law quarters.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
accessory
Mother-in-law
dwelling.
quarters,
Granny flat.
granny flats, ex-wife quarters, man cave. There's different names. Yeah, different names. But ADUs is very interesting because it's basically building a house, right? And then what can you do after you built the ADU?
Rent it out.
Rent it out? And then what if you want to sell it?
It's an
Can you
additional-
sell it?
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
actually
so
square footage.
you can sell ADUs by lot splitting now, right?
Well, you have to have a big enough lot, though.
Yes, you have to have a big enough
Yeah,
lot,
you
like
can't
7,000, 8,000. So this is one of our clients in Santa Clara. This lot is only like 7,000 square feet. They just bought the house, 1.5. They're like, hey, can you build an ADU? And then in the future, I want to sell it. And then we said, sure. We're gonna build 1,000 square feet ADU. That costs, how much that cost? 1,000 square feet, 300 square feet. 300K, let's say 350-ish for fees and things like that with the city, that's out of our control. So 350, they're gonna build this ADU. How much can you sell 1,000 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom in Santa Clara?
1.1.
1.1?
Yeah.
Maybe a million, 1.1? So they turned their 350K to 1.1, right?
That's every house down there.
Yeah. Every house should hit a million. Brand new construction, ground up, not prefab, and it looks more custom.
So you're trying to tell me that you just put an ADU on a unit and you can sell it separate in your house?
There's two things.
It's not
Yeah.
that simple, but you can.
Yeah.
You can actually have one lot, you can subdivide it, say there's one single family residence on it, but you have a huge lot.
Mhm.
You can subdivide that lot, put an ADU with your single family, right? You can build another single family and put
And
another
another
ADU, so you can,
So you
if
can fit
if the
4.
lot's big enough, so,
That's correct.
yeah.
You can fit up to 4
Yeah.
on a lot.
And you can separately, so you have to, you can separately sell it
Yeah.
without
Yes.
having to sell your primary residence.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. It's very fascinating. So ADUs and lot splits are the way to go in the Bay Area.
So you need to do the subdivision, for, and get their own
Yeah.
number and then you can sell it.
So
If you want to
two,
sell it, you can.
it's interesting. So there's two ways. One is split the lot first and then build, or build an ADU first and then lot split at the same time. Yeah, so it's kind of fascinating. You do both at once, fast to double check it. Yeah, because let's say if we do the lot split SB9, it's gonna take 1 year. We lose 1 year of time. But in 1 year, this house can be constructed already. So we're gonna build the ADU and do the lot split simultaneously. So when the house is done, that's a year, and then just sell it. They're gonna sell it for as much as they could. Cash out $500,000,
So
right?
we have to get people into housing, because we're short of housing in
Mhm.
California, so this was something that passed in 2019, I think.
Yeah.
And so it allows us to infill.
Mm-hmm.
And
Infill and
residential.
bonus density and just like you mentioned, 4 units. So if a house is zoned duplex, how many ADUs can you build? 2, right?
One per.
Yeah. One per single family. So imagine this. Here's another scenario that we're doing. We bought a house on a big lot, but it's not a duplex. So what do you do with that house?
Make it a duplex.
Make it a duplex. Exactly.
And then add an ADU.
Yes, and that 2 ADUs. You see that? So we bought a house, 7,500 square feet lot. The house is small, 900 square feet. We're gonna do a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom duplex addition, right? So now technically it's a duplex, and now we can build 2 more in the back. Isn't that fascinating? You can build 4 units.
Makes me tingle.
4 units, right? So that's how you force, because Bay Area real estate is too expensive. We can't buy it, right? So we have to build it, because we can't buy it. We can't buy houses at 300 square feet in the Bay Area, but you can build it at 300 square feet. So that's the vision with the ADUs and lot splits. We're gonna do a lot more. Here's a live scenario of someone that did it in Berkeley. They split the ADU, they put it on the market for 1.3. How much do you think it cost them to build this 1,100 square feet?
300,000.
Yeah, probably not much, 300-400K. So he listed too high. I think he's being greedy. 1.3, that's too greedy. I think he could sell it for $1 million or $1.1 million, just like we mentioned.
Were you the seller?
No, I wish. Yeah, no. This guy beat us in Berkeley, but it's sold as tenant in common, which is very different from what we're doing. We're actually splitting the lot and making it completely separate. Separate APN, separate everything, separate meters. No one wants a tenant in common,
What does
right?
that mean, tenant?
That means you co-own the property. Kind of like in San Francisco, you co-own the property with, yeah, people don't like tenants in common that much. Just a name tick doesn't sound good. I don't want a tick, right?
It's a tick.
Yeah, it's a tick. What if you show off to your friend, hey, I just bought a house, but it's a tick, right? No one wants a tick or a tenant in common. So we do more lot splits. It's an actual, complete, separate unit. Yeah, that's how you get the value. So now we're doing a lot of construction because we can build low, right? 300 square feet, 400 square feet. So we try to find these opportunities to build houses. We got this one for 2.5, and then we try to sell double what we got it for. So now Palo Alto can hit 5 million, right? And then how much do you think it costs to build this? Going with our formula, 300 square feet. How big is the house? 330, 400 square feet? Yeah. What's the formula? What's the formula? 34 square feet times 300, so maybe about $1 million, right? Yeah, 300 times 300 is 900, and round up for fees. So we're about $1 million-ish, and then some holding costs. Let's say even $500,000 for holding costs, because it took a long time. This is our first time building in Palo Alto, so we're still learning. It took us 4 years to get here, 2021 to now. 4 years. Yeah, but we have appreciation over 4 years, so it's okay too, right?
Oh yeah, nice neighborhood.
Yeah, so 2.5 plus 1.5 is 4, and then we sell for 5-ish. Yeah. So there's still some room at the end of the day. Even if we make 100,000, it's okay. We build a lot of time for the experience. Even though we don't make a lot of money sometimes, it's still okay. Because we want the experience in Palo Alto. Now we have another one in Palo Alto that we're getting permits in 6 months. So you see the difference now when we get the experience. Relationships, we know what the city wants. Yeah, so before it took 2 years to get permits, now it takes 6 months. Because we get a little bit smarter each time. We're kind of like a developer AI. We're trying to figure out every city slowly, one by one. Now, here's another interesting scenario. So, what are the average sized lots in Appleton?
Oh my gosh.
An acre, right? Every lot in Appleton is an acre, right? What can you do with 1 acre?
Multifamily.
Split it.
Units.
Split it.
Yeah.
Split it right in half. Split it right in half. So we picked up this property in Appleton. It sounds scary, it sounds expensive, $5 million. But if you do the math, it makes a lot of sense. It's cheap. You actually got it 50% off, right? So this $5 million house is actually 50% off. Why is that? Because we split the lot. How long does it take to split a lot? 1 year. 1 year, which is very fast. A lot of things, 1 year is it's already half the year already this year, see? Yeah, so 1 year passed by very fast in life and in construction. So imagine this, split it down the middle and then build a house, and then you have to keep one. So we're gonna build 2 houses, one to keep, one to sell. You have to keep it for 3 years, that's the rule, but that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Does anyone mind living in Appleton for 3 years? Would you like to stay in this one? Because we have to own our car for 3 years. Yeah, so we can build one and sell it. How much can a new build in Appleton sell for? The one we're building is 5,000 square feet. It's gonna be done also this month or 2. So everyone's welcome to join, check it out. Yeah, it's a 5,000 square feet house in Appleton on a 20K lot. How much can that sell for?
10 million.
I can't even imagine.
Maybe 10 million, 8, 9, 10, 8. It's hard to say, luxury is different. Yeah, I wanna say maybe 8, 9 or something.
I have a friend that lives
For each one.
Yeah. Yeah.
8, 9 for each one.
For each one. For each one. So the lot costs 2.5. Our construction, let's say even if our construction is 2.5, we're in 5, and then we sell for 8 to 9. Yeah. Even if we sell for 7.5, I think we'll be okay. Right? So we're gonna sell one, make the money, and then pay down the first one. So we got the first house for half off, and then we got the first house for free. Right? Does that make sense? Because you got the land half off, and then you got the profit of the first one. So you got an $8 million house in Appleton for free, essentially.
But that 3 years, so what do? It's finished
Yeah.
and you rent it out?
We have to live there, so we have to throw a party every day there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of barbecues and
So you take that into construction is part of your expense, right?
Yeah, it's still expense,
Yeah.
but it's a free house. Yeah.
Long term, okay.
Yeah, we had a free house in Appleton for 3 years.
Okay.
So it's affordable. It's affordable housing. It's a new way of affordable housing.
Well, you could also set up office there.
We could, yeah. We call it a home office.
Yeah, home office.
Yeah.
Office there and just-
Yeah. Networking,
Yeah, and then.
meetups, yeah, all that.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
While you kind of get into the community.
Exactly. We'll rent it to ourselves as an office or something, or we'll figure something out to cover that cost. It's still a big cost. It's gonna be $30,000 a month to live here because of because property tax and all that. But it's okay. It's okay. It's a free house. So $30,000 okay when you get a free house. Yeah. So now we're
What's the
doing.
holding cost on that?
Holding costs, so about 10%. So go back to the price, we got a 5.6. So 10%. We're still on hard money and all that, and construction loan. So that's like $50K a month for the mortgage, and then property tax. So you're still looking at $60K a month to do this. It's a lot of money. So that's why you have to team up with richer people. That's why I have my amazing sugar mamas. Yeah, you gotta have a lot of sugar mamas because it's very expensive. It's very, very expensive to do this. I can't do that, 60K a month, right? But I'll live there for free for 3 years. I volunteer to live there. Yeah.
Is that house vacant now?
It's being constructed, yes. So it's gonna be finished in a month or so. And it has an ADU. See, so we're doing this a lot of time to get the experience. We know how to build an ADU in Appleton. Every city is slightly different.
And from a city standpoint, they don't consider that hold time during construction part of the ownership time, right?
No. Good question. When is the ownership time? The ownership time starts when you can actually occupy it. Yeah. So the clock doesn't start when we get approved. It starts when you move in. Yeah. When you get that final permit sign off, which is a couple months from now. And then we have to hold it for 3 years, and then we can sell it. But the profit has enough room to cover the holding costs. So we're still getting a free house in the Bay Area, in Appleton.
My friend went out her house, and hers I think is 7,500 square foot. She went it out for 45,000 a month.
45,000 a month in rents. Wow, that's amazing.
On a 1 year lease.
On a 1 year lease. Wow, who's the tenant? I want to know who that tenant is.
Entrepreneur from China.
45,000 a month.
Wanted to extend the loan.
Because it's tariffs, he's going home.
Oh, wow. He can't afford it anymore. That's amazing. Yeah. Tell her we can split the lot.
Oh, she's not doing it.
Oh, it's very good. Oh, yes, you're building ADU.
Yeah, I don't know if she used it.
Yeah.
She's working on the, she's using ADU.
Wow, nice.
That house was 45,000.
And then the ADU is gonna be like 10 grand maybe, or 8K or
She
something.
tried to live in the ADU and then.
45,000. Imagine getting 45,000 every month. That's nice. Yeah, for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's how you live for free. See?
It's only 45,000 for the year, 1 year lease. Next time it might only be 40,000.
Yeah, but still good. 40,
yeah,
45.
only.
Only 40K. We're all spoiled. We're all spoiled in the Bay Area. We all want 100,000 a month. Yeah, so there's just so much opportunity. This is another one, right? There's so much opportunity if you apply the right strategy in real estate. So we just picked up this one for $6 million. Same concept. We got the house 50% off because $3 million each. Where can you buy a house in Appleton for $3 million, right? So that's how we see it. We got 2 lots out of it, and it's the perfect setup. If you look at the layout, this house is in the front, and then just chop it down the middle. Get rid of the pool, trees, and then this one has its own driveway. It's a corner lot. So corner lots are perfect for lot splits. You have your own driveway. You have fire department can reach the trucks and all that. Flag lots are a little bit tricky. You can still do it, but it's a little bit tricky. You want that separate driveway. It has more value when you sell too. So now I'm going to build another 4,000 to 5,000 square feet house, and then sell it for $10 million. Get our money back to pay back the $6 million, right? So we just got another free house in Appleton. Now we got 2 free houses now, right? So every year, just
That's
keep on
why I
doing.
wanna live in the first one that you got.
Yeah.
So you can be in the community.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're there, we talk to the neighbors and do more. And then we partner up with homeowners too. We tell homeowners, hey, we can build for you, and then we'll split the profit. So a lot of homeowners like that because they have the land, but they don't have the money and experience. So we partner up with a lot of homeowners. We're building 10 townhouses for a Campbell lot. And his lot is very interesting because it's zoned townhouse in the single family area. So he's like, yeah, just build it, then we'll split profit. And then they're happy. So why should you learn how to flip? Why should you learn how to build? Why should you learn about ADUs? Because you can make money right here in your own backyard, right? Everyone's saying it's expensive to buy real estate. It is until you find ways to get it to pay for itself. Just like the Santa Clara house that our client bought. 1.5 is a lot of money, right? 1.5 is a lot of money, but he's gonna sell it, the ADU one, for $1 million-ish, get the money back. So how much was his true cost for that house? 500K. Where can you buy a house in Santa Clara for 500K?
Nowhere.
Nowhere, see?
You can buy somewhere here early.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's how, yeah.
Do you have a restriction? I thought there was a restriction on ADU, square feet and height
Yeah.
and all of that.
Depending on the size of the lot, whatever you can fit, but the max for the most part is 1,200 square feet. For the most part, 1,200 square feet.
Or 25% of the original
Yeah.
primary residence.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, really?
Unless,
25% of the primary? Okay.
yeah, or unless you do a lot split. If you do a lot split, you can build as big as you like, just like
Yeah,
Appleton.
yeah, because you got two.
Because you have two
But the
lots.
ADUs that go with
Yeah.
the primary have to be.
It tends to be 1,200, 1,000-ish, yeah.
I could add something to
Mhm.
the size of the ADUs, cause
Yeah.
I looked into my place. If you build, like here, I'm in Napa,
Mhm.
if you build like 1,200 square feet, the fees at the city is like nothing. You build like the little one, like 300 or 400, it's
Yeah.
like 25 grand. So they actually, the bigger you build,
Yeah, that's right.
the ADU, the
Yeah.
less the,
Really?
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's-
in Napa, I don't know about
Yeah.
Solano.
Well, sure.
That's the
But
opposite.
Yeah, I used to have it, cause I was really wanting to, you know, my place is set up where I really thought I only wanted to build like 400.
Mhm.
But then I started looking at it, I thought, God, you know, if I could fit this, you know.
Yeah,
And you
1,200.
put, you know, the mid-size and then the bigger size, there's actually no fee, I mean, there's like
Yeah.
minimal. Whereas
That's
on the
so
little one, it's
fascinating.
like 25 grand. You know, like school tax fee,
Yeah.
water hookup fee. I used to have them all, it's a couple years, I kind of forgot them, but.
Yeah.
But anyways, if you build bigger, at least in Napa,
Yeah,
you know,
it's cheaper.
ADU size.
Yeah,
But
which-
he's exactly right, you know, you have to, it's the size of your lot and
Yeah.
how much is on there now relative to how big you can build.
Yeah.
The ADU.
And-
Yeah, Fairfield doesn't have a lot restriction, they do have a primary residence restriction.
Yeah, so it's fascinating. Every city is different. And then most Bay Area cities is the opposite. Because the
More for bigger?
Yeah, so anything
Not
over 750, you have to pay impact fees.
Yeah.
And impact fees in the Bay Area is very expensive. Impact fees are for schools, roads, things like that. They're up to like 40, 50 grand impact fees. So people in South Bay, they want to build slightly under 750. That's why we have a 749 square feet floor plan, the one that we just saw in the video. That's
The only thing I could think of, Napa has a very large agricultural population.
Yeah.
Where there's a real super high demand.
For housing. Yeah, a lot of housing, a lot of rents.
So I think that may be why the fees are less.
Yeah, they're encouraging bigger houses.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they need more housing here.
Yeah.
So I like Napa for that reason. Yeah, bigger ADUs and cheaper. That's
Less
amazing.
cost. I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't much at all.
Mhm.
But for the little one, it was like 25, 30, it was a lot of money.
Wow, so you might as well go big.
As big as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
You
Yeah.
gotta be able to afford it though. Yeah, that was another little problem.
Yeah, look, we expect 300-400. Yeah, 300-400. So everyone should learn about flipping. Everyone should learn about these ways to add value to your property because everyone either knows someone that has property or own a property, right? Now you can find ways to add value to your property. You can extend it. You can lot split. You can build ADUs. There's so many opportunities. And then we have a cabinet store. So if you need flooring and cabinets and all that, we can give you really great pricing because we have the volume, right? We have our own store to build our own houses. So that's the benefit of building houses. You can create all these service companies to pass on the savings. We just started a design firm just for fun. Nancy mainly runs it, but we like to have nice designs in the flips and all that. Yeah, so stay in touch and keep on learning, because real estate is a unlimited, never-ending journey of growth, right? Yeah, you never learn enough, you can never buy enough, you can never own enough, right? It's just fascinating just to own real estates everywhere, different areas. Yeah, keep on learning. And it's right here, Bay Area, we're the best market. This is the only market that you can add these value add in less than a year. We saw the flipper made $1 million. We can do additions, make a couple hundred. We can do new builds. We can do lot splits. It's all adding a lot of value. 300 to 400 or $500,000, $1 million, right? Where else can you add $500,000 to $1 million value in the United States? Not many places, only the Area, right? Because we have land here. Even though people say we have no land, we actually have a lot of land, right? There's land everywhere. We're not in New York, we're not in LA, we're right here in the Bay Area. So a lot of opportunity, reach out, keep on learning, and join the journey of real estate and building. We're here to support you, we want to team up with you, and we want to share all the knowledge. So we share everything that we do, good and bad, right? It's gonna be a tough journey, yes.
When are you gonna be here in Solano?
Solano, not too often. We have a house in downtown Napa, but it's interesting because the whole point of owning a house in downtown Napa was to work from home, but we never went there in the past.
So that's what you're saying,
Yeah, I only went there like once. It's a very expensive hotel that I never stay at. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend buying a house.
No, when would you be here to help build ADUs? So we could have you come speak at like Women's Council and
Yeah.
again, and another AREAA event or
Yeah,
something like that.
we haven't expanded out here yet since most of our resources are South Bay, but eventually I think we'll be out here as well. Yeah, give us a year. Give us a year, we'll work our way out here. Yeah, because there's a lot of land out here. Yeah, so we'll build your ADU at low cost for you.
You don't go to Napa yet, right?
Not yet.
You said downtown, and that's where I live, but okay.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, maybe in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, in the future. Yeah, cool. So thank you everyone, and thank you. Yeah, stay in touch. We'd love to stay in touch and become friends and all that. Cool. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Tom.
Do you speak at other events?
I do, yeah, a lot in South Bay. So a lot of South Bay events if you want to come down
There's
there.
a meetup I go to in Danville that.
Yeah.
You would probably.
Yeah. Denver's a little bit far,
South Bay.
No, I'm just saying, you know, you wanna get your name out there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
His name is out there.
Okay. I'll speak anywhere as long as there's good food, like good food and wine.
And good sushi afterwards.
I came
right?
here for wine actually. That's why I came here. Get some wine tasting.
There is some wine there.
You want some?
Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much. Okay, we have one last speaker. He's running slightly behind schedule, so we'll take a he's pulling. So we'll take a few minutes, quick bathroom break, grab what's left of the sandwiches, if you want to network real quick.
Thanks, Josh. Thank you guys for hanging in there. If you haven't had a chance to sign in, we have the sign-in sheets over here. We'd love to send this out to all of you so you all can connect with each other. Make sure your name's on there. We'll make sure we get it out to each and every one of you. And the last speaker is going to be very brief. It's going to be creative financing. And we'll be wrapping up right after David Garcia wraps up. So thanks for hanging in there. Bathroom break, grab some drinks, and we will start in about 10 minutes. Yeah, all right.
Do you do sewer Oh, yeah. Because we like in Fairfield, the city of Fairfield, planted trees over the sewer. Lateral. I mean, a house that's less than 10 years old, and we have, $5,000 for the owners. the city's covering it, but
I will be
still,
back.
I mean, stupid things like that. I guess the two departments didn't connect. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, so let me know, I can walk through anything with you, no worries.
Right, so it's really bad and wide. Okay, down in this area, yeah, leave it at that.
Just call me, I'm over to look, if you have any questions, construction, what's this cost, what is that Friday?
Yeah, I gotta sign you.
I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to
Yeah, it's you, 2 hours drive. Bay Area, and then some Central Valley Street and Fresno. I will. If it's right.
You've been doing inspection for a long time.
Yeah, please.
Oh, no.
I don't think I ever done it. You sent me his picture, I know he's used some.
But some things I figure like, okay, well, now, you know, a lot of things, I do the same thing where I'm already doing.
What could I do? What would I fix and flip that.
We just went through the whole entire.
Okay.
A lot of people, just saying we can get it now, but a lot of people are gonna get
Yeah.
I look at how many times where I go in there and like, it's nice. It'll work.
Forget it.
Go there. You would
Yeah.
my opinion.
I looked into it to maybe do it on the side or something. What's some around where it's not really good.
I kind of does it.
I personally use,
I already like some.
She allows me to like job fair. I already got my whole thing is going, I open up yet.
Then use that money to get it.
Yes, I worked up a scheme, I got one here too.
Oh, his dad, yeah, my son was, I was gonna take my grandson overnight, and then on Saturday, go to the gym. Cause they have no vision, he works 7 days a week. Anyway, I will get our complaint. He does bartending and he works at a construction company. So I was working for a week. So all of those expenses, somehow she was able to make all the expenses. And I am. So I was like, oh, God, I'm not even able to do with you. So I can help you if you want me to, but, you know, we can always pay some of these things.
revenue, but yeah, so he's working,
Yeah.
so every week coming on. So I told him, you're gonna burn yourself out.
You know, the more you want to do this.
Four bedroom house.
Yeah.
With bunk bed.
Lots of benefits.
Yeah.
He's a good kid, though. He's very quiet, very quiet.
So now I gotta go shave the trouble. Just listen to So I'm gonna go there, do some stuff real quick, and then I gotta go back. Awesome, man. Thank you, guys.
Somewhere else.
Do you know if anybody was sitting right here?
The big thing about you connect. Yeah, you know, right, connecting to it. I don't make it. Make sure later on, if I need something. But that's what it's all about. Networking. Or you can open a business. But it's just like, I don't, you know, I don't want to do it. I know there's other things I got to there's people that have looking for a way to make their money. That's like any contact.
But I didn't know how that applied. Oh, I will do that in a minute. Sure, I was just
So it's like, you know, like, yes, I do.
That's kind of like a but I really didn't do it. The little one which is up to
I mean, I will.
You don't learn, or what do you do? You look like a pretty young guy. How old are you?
I'd rather give it. I like the.
I don't know. I just, yeah, it's, well,
A good start to be here. And I wish I could.
But they also are very.
yes, well,
And you were pretty happy with it. What happens if you put it down first? It's better than doing a KK. They might think 40 bucks.
but I was just wondering, I was only getting $110 a month. But still, I was making no, my
Yeah, and I still got that show where I keep
I ended up just video, so I ended up getting about 8 or 10 credits. So I got 2.5, 3%. So I ended up getting it was interesting story about what you said about the money living. And you were, the only thing you could have done, if you didn't have the staff to do it, is back then what you probably should have been doing a whole buyer thing for buyers. Like buyer's agent, like AREAA, because there were buyers. Tons of buyers back then. At low prices,
All right, here we go. In the home stretch now. Everyone have a chance to go to the restroom? We're locking the doors till 3. All right. This is a quick survey of who is a real estate professional. Here, anyone who's a real estate agent? Besides myself. Any lenders here? Lenders? How about any inspectors? I know we have inspectors. Okay. Any builders? I know Tom's a builder. Anyone else a builder? Yeah, all right. What about investors? Anyone who's actually investing in real estate? Cool. All right. We have our last speaker here. Before we have our last speaker, I just wanted to tell you, so thank you again for coming. This is an event sponsored by AREAA, the Asian Real Estate Association of America, the Napa Solano chapter. Our next event is in a couple of weeks. It's our Bridging Diversity event. It's going to be in American Canyon. We're going to do a ribbon cutting. We're partnering with the Women's Council Realtors and the Solano Realtors Association. So we'd love to have you guys there. We have a whole calendar of events. AREAA does. And then in May we actually have our biggest event, which is going to be our first large one. It's the
Summit, right?
Not the event. It is the what is the event? It's assumed. I can't even think of it now.
Oh, the Asian Festival.
Asian Heritage Festival. There you go. Sorry, I was like, I can't think of it. Been up too early. Anyway, so that's in May. It'll be here. It'll be in downtown soon. So end of the month. But anyways, we have a couple other events that aren't AREAA specific, but we do have some flyers over there. If you guys are interested, go and take a look. But anyways, again, thank you for coming. Again, my name is Josh. I'm the sponsorship director. If you have any questions about AREAA, feel free to talk to myself or Kenny. I don't know who else is here with the board today. Dana's here. Anyways, here we go. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Ready for the grand finale? All right. Well, first and foremost, thanks again, everybody, for coming out early this morning and spending half of your day here. I hope you found some value from the previous speakers. I learned so much. And who's gonna buy some? Who's gonna do some ADUs here?
Oh.
Who's gonna buy some care homes next week? Let's all chip in, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Need a place to live.
I know, huh? You could save me a room for my future too. Yeah. It's getting expensive, right? So, our next speaker, he works with me in my company. We work for a firm called Premier Financial Alliance, a national insurance agency. And today, you've learned a lot from the areas of investing and what to invest in. For this last session, you're going to hear about another creative way of financing your investments. Another creative way where you can actually leverage some of the funds that you already have acquired from other investments and not only fund your investment property, but still gain interest from the money that you've invested. So many of you probably have heard the term be your own bank. Have you heard of those terms? Very similar. David's going to talk a lot about that concept. Some of you have heard that term, infinite banking. Some of you have heard of that, right? So again, these are just kind of different terms that the industry uses to create some new concepts. So today, you're going to learn something new, so get out your pen and paper. This gentleman that I'm about to introduce, he's one of our top producers in our company, has helped so many, not just businesses, but so many families, investors like yourself, find new ways of creating, equity and also letting their money work for them while they're using this money to fund other types of investments. And it's a very, very great concept. It's like you're becoming your own bank. You're your own bank. So many of us probably, as we find properties, we're probably gonna borrow money, right? Or we're gonna fund it through, a collaborative effort. So this concept that David's about to share is more in terms of using what you've acquired already and funding it and now letting it cycle, let that money cycle through different types of opportunities. So this gentleman is a father of four, excuse me, I added one, sorry, maybe one coming, I don't know. A father of four for David. He was a businessman at a young age and is now one of our top producers in our company. Has helped, like I said, has helped so many families. He's also one of our testimonials in some of the programs that we do. We have a program that actually takes care of our clients if they were to get, chronically ill, critically ill. He's actually one of our testimonies, and our company, National Life, has provided him with a video that talks about his testimonial. So we are out there sharing our crusade. But what you're about to learn today is this clicker here.
We use a clicker here?
Yeah, clicker, I guess you could use.
Okay, that works. Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, appreciate you guys having me today. My business partner Miguel and I just drove in from Sacramento. We were at another event with realtors and lenders, really speaking the same thing, because there's so much alignment that goes with life insurance and real estate when you know how to use them the right way. Most of us know life insurance as just the death benefit. When we pass away, it's going to help take care of our loved ones, it'll help take care of our family, pay for any funeral costs or whatnot, outstanding bills. But really, life insurance is like money, right? Money is a tool we can use to buy time, buy assets, just obtain the things we want in life. And that's very similar with life insurance. Life insurance is a tool to use to create wealth, not just generationally, but also create wealth while living. Okay, so that's what I've become the specialist of our company the last 3-4 years. Been the #1 producer by showing families and investors and business owners how to multiply their money through life insurance, by in essence becoming their own bank. Right, how many guys would love to approve your own loans? Right, no credit check, no person, right? It'd be an amazing thing to do. So that's why I'm teaching people how to do the right way with life insurance, and it's a very unique concept of lending money to yourself with the policies. So let me break down just the basics. I'm gonna go into more of the advanced strategies and everything. So types of life insurance. A lot of us understand there's a term policy and a whole life. When really there's two different categories. We have term and then we have permanent, and two different types of permanent policies. So we have here your term policy, which is a fixed death benefit, and also the premium is level and there's no cash value. So we write all policies, term, whole life, and universal life. I don't want to say term is bad, but again, there's a season for term, right? Just like renting a home, our goal is to own real estate, but sometimes we're in a season to rent first and then transition to ownership. So again, there is a season for term, but I definitely like a policy that builds cash value or we can leverage. So next we have whole life. Whole life has a guaranteed death benefit, a fixed premium, and again, only grows with a fixed rate. All right, so that's why our company and myself tend to specialize with the index universal life. Okay, flexible death benefit, it can grow as you continue to live. Also flexible premium. Now, half of my clients don't even have an out-of-pocket premium. They're just moving money just as they were to move money through a bank, right? And then the cash value is through index crediting, right? Which I'll go deeper and explain a little bit more of that in just a bit. But by show of hands, how many of you guys already have some kind of life insurance? Awesome, about half the room. Great. So the biggest thing we see about life insurance, again, is a death benefit. Now, what our company specializes in is what's called living benefits, right? So what I like about living benefits is it allows you to accelerate and get an advance on your death benefit if one of these qualifying events were to happen, right? So you have terminal illness here, meaning if you're diagnosed to die within 24 months, you can now get an advance on your death benefit tax-free, right? How is that going to help? I'm trying to learn to invest. Well, what's going to fund those investments if you can no longer go to work? What's going to give you working capital if you can no longer run your business to fund those investments, right? So this is just an extra resource to give options to help protect your income, your investments, your business. Next, we have chronic illness. Chronic illness is if you're unable to do 2 out of those 6 daily living activities for a 90-day period, you can now get an advance on your death benefit up to 24% per year. Very similar to long-term care. Okay, then we have chronic critical illness, critical injury. Some of the common triggers on there are heart attack, stroke, cancer. Now giving you a chance to get an advance on your policy up to $1 million tax free. Okay, so what's different about living benefits than what a lot of us are used to is living benefits allows you to accelerate your death benefit. It has nothing to do with cash value. So even our term policies have living benefits. Okay, and again, a lot of us, if we suffer these critical illnesses, we want to turn to maybe a GoFundMe account, maybe have a car wash, something to raise funds to help with replacing our income.